What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's up to all of my friends and family? We back in the studio, back from Springfield, Massachusetts. And I am here. You are here. We are here. And life is good. What's up, friends and family? I see y'all in the chat. What's the word? Let me see what's going on with my car. Had a little bit of a skerfuffle. Not a skerfuffle, but something else. Had a little bit of something yesterday, today. Got back in town. Cybertruck had wound up getting a flat. Had to get it towed. They were supposed to come and fix it on site this morning. Apparently, the truck broke. Their truck broke down this morning. So then they had to get it towed out to the actual dealership instead of getting it serviced on site. Then I gave my car over to Rita, the Cayenne. And so I had to catch public transportation, which I'm cool with. And then here we are. So we are here. What's going on, friends and family? I got a dope show that is lined up for you guys today. I hope you guys are excited. I hope that it's going to be a great week for you guys. It's 80 degrees and sunny, 80 plus degrees and sunny here in Metro Detroit. So it's nice to come back home to some decent weather. What's going on to the people that's in the chat? I dropped the early morning vlog. Instead of dropping it in the afternoon, I dropped it in the vlog. Azriel, Yakar, Chris Cunningham. I see you, Sherelle, Will Nola, Moses King. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. After hearing 2K on After Hours, JD says, I'm convinced black men are cooked. Yeah, it's a new movement coming. The tour has officially started. The tour has started. That is true. I am officially on an I Choose You tour. So let's get some housekeeping out of the way. You know what? What did I say that I was going to do? What did I say that I was going to do for the people that's here early? Was that I was going to give away $100 a day for y'all choosing the next place that I'm going to. So this week I am going to a completely different location. I'm going to a completely different location. And so today I'm going to do the state. Tomorrow I'm going to do the city. So the people that's got it tomorrow, y'all got it a little bit easier. But as soon as the show starts, we're going to get it popping for the people that's here early. All right. So for those of you that's in here, y'all tell me what city I'm going to. I'll get a first person. I get it $100. Not city, state. Tell me the state that I'm going to. The first person I guess to get $100. I'm going to go over that, Brian Wilson. Let's see where we going this time. Springfield was popping. soon as I see it, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. I'm going to confirm it. I think I got one. I think I got one. All right, I got it. Y'all can stop now. I'm going to tell you who won. Nope, Joshua. Nope, Guapo. You guys are not first. Dame Dash. Shout out to Dame Dash. Hey, if somebody can get Dame Dash Cash App, somebody get Dame Dash Cash App. And somebody get Dame Dash's Cash App, and I'm going to go ahead and get it popping. Dame Dash got it first. I am going to Virginia. That is the state that I am going to be going to next. I am going to Virginia. Somebody get Dame Dash's Cash App. Let me put it up there so y'all know exactly where it is. This is the person that won right here with the phenomenal beard. Shout out to Dame Dash on there. I will be going to Virginia this week, so I'm not going to tell you the day, but I will be flying to Virginia. You did, Ida, but he said it first. It's always the first person to get it. The first person to say it is the first person that's getting it. I am going to Virginia. I am. Y'all tell me what's happening over in Virginia. We going to go to the city. You may not guess the city. I'm not going to give you no clues. I'm not going to do none of that. None of that. So, your car, if you can get me Dame Dash's Cash App and text it to me, and I'll send you $100 after the show, and then we'll get there. Yes, I'm going to be going to Virginia. So the thing about it is that, recently came from Springfield, Massachusetts, and we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping because I'm going to wait till some more people get in here so they're not surprised about what's going to happen tomorrow. I'll get into that shortly. And then I'm going to read Cash App, Super Chats, and we're going to go ahead and get into the show. So I recently came from Springfield, Massachusetts. I've never been to Springfield, Massachusetts. It was a great time. What do the women say? A time was had. Women always say things backwards. I did, as you can see right here, visit the Basketball Hall of Fame. One of the things that I could not figure out for the life of me is why were women in the Basketball Hall of Fame? Why are women in the Basketball Hall of Fame? I can't figure that out. I cannot figure it out. I am very confused. However, the women were in the Basketball Hall of Fame. You got my guy Grant Hill up there. And as a basketball fan myself, I am a basketball fanatic. I've calmed down over the years because I haven't, I didn't want to just like go off the rails and be crazy with my basketball and all of that, but I am. I'm a basketball fanatic. That's Muggsy Bogues. That's Kelsey Plum. She's 5'8". I don't believe that those signs or anything like that are the size that they are. A lot of people want to know how tall I am. That's me standing next to Kelsey Plum, but I got shoes on too, so take that into consideration. Cynthia Cooper is 5'10". They say that she's 5'10". They say that their sign is 5'10". It might be a little bit crooked. I'm not 5'10". I'm shorter than 5'10", but I don't know why those signs say that they 5'10". They say that Caitlin Clark is 6 feet. I don't believe that Caitlin Clark is 6 feet. Candace Parker is 6'4". And then I measured myself against all of. I didn't want to measure myself against Dwayne Wade. It's a little. That sign was sassy. I wasn't sure if he had on black nail polish or anything like that. And then you got Giannis with the super wingspan and all of that stuff. So they let you measure your wingspan, and then you can go down and you can hoop on all of the courts. And I haven't picked up a basketball in years. Carmen says, Anton, you a shorty. I'm about 5'7", 5'8", I believe. And then with shoes on, I was standing next to them. I'm about 5'7", 5'8", probably about 5'8". And then with shoes on, I was standing next to them. But I don't believe most of those people are as tall as they are. A lot of people inflate how tall they are, and it's nonsense. It's BS. It's probably why people try to make it seem like Anton is 5'2". Yeah, I am a shorty, but I'm not that short. And I haven't picked up a basketball in years, and so I had the opportunity to hang out over at Springfield, one of their biggest. Yeah, I am short. I'm cool. I'm like 9 feet when I stand on my money, though. One of their biggest attractions is the Basketball Hall of Fame. And I think that the central meeting place is probably the MGM Casino. The MGM Casino, they had all of the spots that was popping. It was a nice place. It was, basically for that particular area. It wasn't a whole lot. I think that people need to move to smaller towns. This footage right here is actually footage that I put out on the Darth Anton channel. So the Darth Anton channel is all of my personal life. It takes you through my journeys. It lets you see how I travel and what's going on. There really is Darth, but it's a V in the Darth part, but it's an upside down A. But yeah, man, so it was fun. I learned a lot in Springfield. I got a lot of work done. Met a lot of people, kicked it with people over in Springfield, and it was cool. It was a very cool. The ladies are cool in Springfield. It was some cuties over in Springfield. I couldn't believe it. I said, who is all of these cute girls over here? Hi, you must not be from here. Oh, you got good vibe. That's how they approach you in Springfield. You got good energy. You got good vibes. I said, what do you mean good energy, good vibes? You got good energy. You got good vibes. But it was fun. I picked up a basketball probably for the first time in about 5 years, which I haven't done in a very long time. They allow for you to be able to shoot on the court and hoop on the hoops, and that's the first hoop that has ever came out. And again, I don't know if you guys are basketball heads, if you guys like to have fun or anything like that. But yeah, I got an opportunity to shoot on all of the rims. Everybody over in Springfield, including the people, they recorded for me. So the people that recorded for me, they recorded me. I said, all right, we're going to do one edit. I know that y'all got to get back to work, so we just going to do one edit. I'm going to shoot some shots for y'all. So there you go. This is the one edit, no cuts, because I had to make sure that they got back. No misses. No misses. So we don't do misses over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. We don't miss. We don't miss when it comes to live streaming. We don't miss when it comes to shooting our shot at all. And they were really cool. Again, they let you shoot the shots on the court and all of that type of stuff. So no misses, all net. We shoot our shot all net. And then we went over to the 3-point line, had to shoot our NBA 3. No misses. No misses. I could play a little bit of ball. I was okay back in my day. I could no misses, no rim, no none of that. We could shoot a little bit. I could play a little bit of ball back in my day. I see you on the court. That's all we did back in the hood. That's all we did back in the hood was hoop. So it was a cool moment. It was a cool opportunity. I got an opportunity to see a lot of things and do a lot of things. And it was. Springfield was awesome. It was a great place to hang out, a great place to chill, and met a lot of people. But I also got my enthusiasm back. I got my enthusiasm back because I think that a lot of times you have to get outside of your comfort zone to get back into your groove. And although I've never missed, it gave me a sense of purpose. One thing I will tell you that I think that a lot of people need to move to these smaller towns. I think that Springfield got like 150,000 people. Somebody was in my comments was saying, oh, that's actually a bigger city. No, it's not. No, it's not. New York got 8 million people. Chicago is horrid as it is. It's got a lot of people. Even Detroit, we at like between 600,000 and 700,000 people. We got a population surplus. Um, Make sure you guys really, really capitalize off of these small towns. It's a lot of money and a lot of opportunity in these places. And then more importantly, I got an opportunity to just realize how blessed I am, how awesome it is. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody that you want to get a 40 plus league going. You're not gonna be able to check me. You ain't gonna be able to listen. I'm telling you, some of y'all think that y'all got game. You don't really understand what it's like. You don't know. You don't know. God did not bless me with the 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" height. I promise to God I would have made the league if I'd got there. I know you look at this 43-year-old man, and I'm live streaming every day, and I'm a businessman now, and I make a lot of money. But God didn't give me the height for good reason, because I might have been a LeBron James of my era. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I was going to be the prodigy. If I would have had the height, it would have been over for everybody. If I would have had the height, I believe it. And that's my own personal. And you know what? It don't make it true. Let's just say that. It doesn't make it true, but it doesn't mean that I didn't truly believe in myself. I believed so fervently in what I was going to do and how great that I was going to be. I believed it. And that's really the biggest thing that I want to impart to you guys before I get into the show and before I do the housekeeping. You have to believe so much in yourself. You almost have to be delusional in your belief. As weird as that may sound, you almost have to be delusional. I don't think that I was delusional. I really believed it with all of my heart. The only reason that I become successful, and this was one of the conversations that I was having with a girl in Springfield, and I was telling her, I said, listen, because she was telling me, and I met her at the Apple store because I was getting my phone fixed, and some people might have caught the vlog, and she was telling me that she had never, ever been out of Springfield because she was scared to fly. She was Puerto Rican. She had family in Puerto Rico. And she had all of these dreams and aspirations. And she was like 30 or something like that. Really, really cute woman. And she was just like, yo, I've never been out of Springfield. And then she volunteered some more information. And she told me that she had never been married. And, you know, she didn't have a kid, but she was really pretty. And she was wondering what was out there. And I was just like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you want out of life? What do you think is going to, life is going to be for you? What do you think your future is going to be? And she's just like, oh, I'm just winging it, just trying to figure it out. Also, let me also say this to guys too, before I get to the point of the story. Go and get you a chick that's in some town that don't nobody else know about. That's, those are the ones that got all of the wives at. I'm going to just tell you that right now. Go to the towns that got the chicks that got 200 followers on Instagram, and all of them is friends and family and people from high school. That's where the wives are. They not in Miami. They not in New York. They not hanging out in Los Angeles. They not just in the mix in Houston. They are in these small tucked away towns that these chicks ain't never been nowhere, and they not out here in the streets because there ain't no streets to be out in front of. That's where you find the chicks at. I'm telling you, bro. Don't know nothing. Ain't seen nothing. Everything that they do is dusty. They be happy with a pair of Jordans. They'll be happy with a pair. I'm telling you. Y'all keep saying ain't no good women out here. That's because you keep going to Dallas and you keep going to Atlanta, where all of the people are broken because they went there with dreams and they never made their Tyler Perry film. Stop going to these major cities. Listen, bro. Go to these cities that's tucked away, chilling. They ain't never been nowhere. They got these big dreams. It's almost like for the passport bros going to a different country and finding a woman that's not been tainted by U.S. standards, except she ain't been bust down by 1,000 other guys that came there and promised her a dream. Go to these small tucked away places. That's where all of the women are. That's where the wives are. They chilling. They ain't doing nothing. They in the house all day. They slow motion. They cool, they submissive, they excited to just see somebody from out of town coming to see them and coming to their restaurant. It's so many, bro. And that's why I be telling guys, like, you got to get out the house, you got to see stuff and go to places that you wouldn't normally go to. They all there. But anyways, you said don't tell the big secret, Bobby Cherry. That's the move. I'm telling you, that's the move. But you get to see America. But anyways, what I was telling you, and the point of the story when I was talking to her, and I was like, yo, you gotta go outside. You gotta make yourself get on a plane. You have to go and experience life. And I realized that a lot of dreams go to die in the same places that they're born, because we never truly believe that we can be anything other than our circumstances. A lot of people are trapped by their culture. A lot of people are trapped by the city that they were raised in. A lot of people were trapped by their family. A lot of people are trapped by their political party. A lot of people are trapped by their feminist ways that was put into them that you never even had a chance to explore what a good man look like, feel like, will treat you like. And so you come into it. I know so many women that have already shaped their narrative off of what other people said on social media, and they have never experienced a good man. But then they'll say that all men is trash, or they decenter them. Or I know all of these guys, it's a lot of guys, it's vice versa. It's just as bad on the guy's side. It's guys that have never even been off the porch. They never even been out of their city. They don't even know what it's like to make $100,000. They don't know what it's like to go and experience life outside of their own city. And they already have written off all women or all people or all situations or all political parties. And you got to go outside, bro. That is where you nurture your dreams. And pray for good character, because I don't want you to crash out just because you went somewhere and you experienced something different. Now you keep going over and over again, like going to your favorite restaurant. You have to be delusional in your dreams. And if you're not delusional in your dreams, then you will let that dream die right along with you. That's all I'm saying. So I was excited to go to Springfield, Massachusetts. I plan on flying back into the same area in the airport, because it's BDL. So I think it's Bishop something International. I don't know. But it's the Hartford, Connecticut, Springfield, Massachusetts airport. I didn't get a chance to experience Hartford, Connecticut, so I do plan on going back and visit it at some point, hopefully in the near future. But it was a great time. It was a great time. All right, we all in the building. Y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? Before we get started with the show, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. First, tomorrow we are going to do an early show. Tomorrow we're going to do an early show, okay? The reason that is because I was talking back and forth to Jason Whitlock, and he was saying that he wanted to do a show tomorrow at around, I think, 11 a.m. Eastern. And so we're going to get started between 8:30 and 9 a.m. tomorrow on the Millionaire Morning Show. So I'm going to do my show early, and then we're going to hop over and we're going to do a panel over on Jason Whitlock's channel. And so we got a lot to do before we get out of town on Wednesday. All right. So again, tomorrow we're going to do an early show. And then we're going to get back to our regular time on Wednesday. Tomorrow we're going to do an early show. Yeah, Bradley Airport. That's correct. Thank you, K-Soup. Tomorrow, Bradley International. Tomorrow we're going to do an early show and on the Millionaire Morning Show. And then we're going to hop over to Jason Whitlock. So again, if you guys missed it, it will be uploaded for y'all to restream. And so everything is going to be cool. Also, we did a Patreon live stream last week, and it was awesome. We have a Patreon live stream this week. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tomorrow, I am going to, for the early people that get in within the first 2-3 minutes, so you jumping into the live stream, I am going to do another $100 giveaway for the city that I am going to be in. If you want to know what the state is, then go back and watch earlier in this live stream, because they guessed it. I'm going to give away that $100. Tomorrow, you're going to guess the city within the state. I'm going to give away another $100. All right? Yeah, I want y'all to come over to Jason Whitlock's live stream when I go over there tomorrow after the Millionaire Morning Show. I want to give a shout out to Brian Smith. Shout out to you. I'm going to try to unblock you. You say somebody blocks you on the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm going to look at that. Kimberly, what up, Kim? Says, I appreciate the truth You speak it even when it sings. Shout out to my girl Kimberly Ross. I appreciate you, baby girl. Mike, that dude in the building, I appreciate you. A. Wyatt says ties for Deacon Daniels. And Spencer Campbell says good morning, Mr. AB. So shout out to all of the cash apps. I want to read the super chats, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the show. All right. Eric Wealth Harris says, shout out to the Pacers. Great win against the fake number 1 seed. Yeah. Cleveland got beat up. Moses King says, morning AD, quick question. Knowing what you know now, if you had hit the lotto back in the Dusty days, what are the 5 things you would have done with the money? Good question. It's a difficult question for me to answer. And the reason that it's a difficult question for me to answer is because I don't value money in the same way that other people value money. And so I don't like to look at it from the lens of what I know now. I think that getting that much money that early in life would have probably absolutely ruined my life. I was successful, but I hadn't learned the lessons. I needed to develop the character to go along with it. So if you asking me what I would have done with the money, I mean, from an investment perspective, the same thing I'm doing now. I would continue to invest in real estate, probably throw some of it in cryptocurrency, manage my portfolio the same way that I manage it in Stock Club, and live life. Just live a regular life. I don't think that it's anything profound that I would have done with the money. I'm thankful that God didn't give me the money as much as I have now, because I don't think that I would have been as good of a person as I am now. I think I would have crashed out. I wasn't ready for that type of resources. Back then, I used to pray to be rich, and I would have crashed out even worse than I crashed out in 2008 when I got there. So I got it at the right time. I don't think that there's a right amount of money. I think that once you get past maybe 10 million, life is on easy mode if you've developed a character and you know how to manage it effectively. ABJ's Wise, Smooth, and Strong says, God is good. Survived an explosion at MD Festival on Saturday. My church was involved in. Food stand caught fire next to us. Glad not many got hurt. God bless, man. Thank God that you're here. Shout out to you, P. Shank. Says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels on the Millionaire Morning Show. Thank you, P. Shank. Service USA says, Springfield, Massachusetts is my hometown. Let me know when you're coming back to the area, and I'll show you around. Y'all don't have a whole lot going on in the downtown area, that's for sure. AD, when you coming to Philly? I can't tell you that. You got to guess it. Got to get Anton on the court here in North Carolina. All right, we'll see what happens. That jumper is silky. I could shoot a little bit. I could play a little bit. Sent an email on Schultz Reacts to Burkina Faso. Cool. On YouTube, black man wearing nail polish like it's cool. Leave me out of that trend. Yeah, I got to check that out. I got to see that. Indianapolis and free photography. I like Indianapolis. I visited Indianapolis before. Y'all got a phenomenal zoo. What if the Pistons asked to coach become owner, would you? What if the Pistons asked to coach become owner, would you? No, I like what I do. I love my life, honestly. I love my life. I don't want the stressors that come in with all of that other stuff. I don't want to deal with none of that type of stuff. Good morning and family and the Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Again, guys, remember, we're going to do an early show tomorrow, and then we're gonna hop over to Jason Whitlock. All right. The jumper is butter. Shout out. Don't hurt him, time dog. I shoot a little bit. I haven't picked up a ball in about 5 years, Sly. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the show. So the first thing that I want to talk about is Trump. This show is going to primarily be centered around Trump because it's a lot that went on. Obviously, we know. Well, you know what? Let's pause for a minute. Let's move over. Before we get to Trump, let's go over to Jersey. I want to get over to Jersey because Trump did a lot. They put a pause on the tariffs for China because they're negotiating. Then they're making a lot of headway. He accepting planes and stuff like that. Planes, trains, automobiles. So before we get to Trump, let's talk about what happened over in Newark. How many of y'all is from Jersey? How many of y'all over in Newark? They working on a deal. They working on a deal. How many of y'all know about Newark? Did y'all know that they stormed a migrant facility, an ICE facility over in Newark and the Jersey, not Jersey, the Newark mayor, the Newark, New Jersey mayor wound up getting arrested? Y'all said that that's the armpit. Newark is the armpit of America. Jesus. All right, let's get into it. Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Some breaking news that we are following. Let's take you out right now to New Jersey, right outside of a ICE detention center. And this is where a protest with Democrats turned a little bit upside down. And for more on this, I do want to bring in our my colleague Andrew Kraft to break it all down for us, who has been following this story. It even involves an arrest of a New Jersey mayor. Andrew.
Yeah, Mike, there's a lot happening in Newark today, aside from the problems at the airport with yet another radar outage there. We're getting a statement in from the Department of Homeland Security, and they say this, that today, as a bus of detainees was entering the security gate of Delaney Hall Detention Center, you see there, Delaney Hall, that's a live picture, DHS says a group of protesters, including 2 members of U.S. Congress, stormed the gate and broke into the detention facility. The members, Robert Menendez Jr. and Bonnie Watson Coleman, and multiple protesters are holed up in a guard shack, the first security checkpoint. These members of Congress storming into a detention facility goes beyond bizarre political stunt and puts the safety of our law enforcement agents and the detainees at risk. DHS says members of Congress are not above the law and cannot illegally break into detention facilities. Had these members requested a tour, we would have facilitated a tour of the facility. This is an evolving situation. The allegations by Newark politicians that Delaney does not have the proper permitting is false, they say. We have valid permits, and inspection from plumbing, electricity to fire codes has been clear. That's a statement in from the Department of Homeland Security.
So, all right, here's a question. So while we have members of Congress and the Newark, New Jersey mayor getting arrested for storming an ICE facility in protest, which I want y'all to keep that same energy when it comes to your own communities. Why aren't they showing up and putting the same amount of energy in their own communities as they are storming migrant facilities for people that are here illegally? So they're willing to storm a facility, put their freedom, their record, and their political future on the line for people that is not even supposed to be here and came into here illegally. Democrats have a poop show. I'm gonna just keep it PG-13. It's Monday. We're gonna transition into it being a little bit more incendiary later on in the show. Democrats have a poop show on their hands. All they doing is embarrassing themselves and making themselves look more stupid every single day. They don't even show up for, bruh. You can't even borrow $5 from your homeboy that voted Democrat, but you telling me that these people are willing to storm a migrant facility and get arrested? I've never heard of a mayor getting arrested for participating in an insurrection. You see where I'm going with this? In an insurrection. The same way that they tried to prosecute Trump for something that he offered Nancy Pelosi, the National Guard, in order to stop, and he told them to stand down. These people were actually at the facility, storming the facility, participating in doing things that is not best for the United States of American citizens. I am curious, are we going to keep the same energy? Are we going to prosecute them and then wait for a Democratic president to eventually become president of the United States of America so that they can then pardon those people? Are we going to treat this like an insurrection? Are we going to treat this like an insurrection? And look at what they're doing it for. They're doing it for somebody that don't even belong here. This is crazy.
2 of these New Jersey Democrats from the House, Bonnie Watson Coleman and Robert Menendez Jr. are involved in this, as is, Mike, the Democratic mayor of Newark, New Jersey, Alina Habba, the interim acting U.S. attorney for New Jersey. She tweets this: the mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, committed trespass and ignored multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove himself from the ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey this afternoon. He has willingly chosen to disregard the law. That will not stand in this state. He has been taken into custody, all caps, no one is above the law, Habba says. So, Mike, what we have...
They need to prosecute these people to the furthest extent of the law to make an example out of them.
Right now, confirmed by acting U.S. Attorney Habba, is that the mayor of Newark, New Jersey right now has been taken into custody. Now, what we can't confirm right now, we do not know kind of the status of these two members of Congress, Bonnie Watson Coleman and Robert Menendez Jr. Looks like Congressman Coleman has tweeted this video saying, we're at Delaney Hall there. You can see we're taking it full. So this is, like DHS says, an evolving situation. Mike, this is of a piece of some of the stories that we have been covering on illegal immigration, on undocumented migration. Mike, you'll remember just now, about 2 Fridays ago there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that federal agents arrested that Milwaukee County judge there for facilitating the kind of release and escape of one of these undocumented migrants. Remember, that was a huge story at the time now there in Milwaukee. This, though, in Newark, New Jersey, unfolding right now. We have a live picture outside the Delaney Hall ICE detention facility where, from what we're told, there was some type of protest organized by New Jersey Democrats, and it has turned somewhat chaotic there and somewhat hairy. And you see there, this is from what? New Jersey Spotlight News on social media. A new video from the scene. You see some of these HSI agents there. That's Homeland Security investigations. I believe there is the mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, and others. This is
Does anybody here live in New Jersey?
And you see there Congresswoman Watson Coleman.
That this is the mayor?
I'm not sure. I don't see Robert Menendez Jr. For those watching, that is the son of disgraced.
Looks just like a peaceful protest. Looks great.
Former U.S. Senator Bob Menendez. He is a House member there in New Jersey, his son Menendez Jr. So this
Usual
is
suspects.
Quite a tense situation, turning somewhat physical. Oh, there's Menendez there. You just saw him try to push off some of these other federal agents outside this DHS detention facility. What a video. Wow.
Yeah, so tense there as they make their way past the gate there and then continue to go in, and you see the security police trying to stop them from getting past that gate.
So, Mike, what is so interesting, we don't know whether or not these members of Congress and the Democratic mayor of Newark, whether they're, advocating on behalf of an individual or kind of the, system writ large. That's unknown right now. We don't know whether or not they are kind of pleading on behalf or advocating on behalf of an individual in the detention facility itself.
These people think that they're above the law.
But it seems like, according from the statement we have from DHS, that they had concerns with some of the conditions, Mike, and the facilities themselves at the holding center. And you see that
these people need to be arrested. They need to be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Apparently, CNN was able to, of course CNN was able to get an interview with him in order for him to clear it up. Let me see if we can get him on here.
Is responding to new allegations by DHS after being handcuffed and arrested by ICE agents at a protest outside a facility.
Stop shoving.
Get off of me! Get off of me! Put your hands on me!
The Department of Homeland Security says the mayor was trespassing and ignored repeated warnings. The mayor says he did nothing wrong. He was released from custody Friday night. And Democratic Mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka, joining us right now. All right, I want to ask you about something that happened over the weekend. DHS is accusing you and members of Congress of quote, storming the facility. And
Facts.
now DHS is saying that more arrests are possible because of what, and I want you to listen to it, DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told our Victor Blackwell this weekend. Take a listen.
There were multiple people arrested. And Victor, I think that we should let viewers know there will likely be more arrests coming. We actually have body camera footage of some of these members of Congress assaulting our ICE enforcement officers, including body slamming a female ICE officer. So we will be showing that to viewers very shortly.
You say a video of members of Congress body slamming ICE
That's correct.
officials?
That's correct, sir. It's disgusting.
And we got it on camera, so we're going to review the footage as soon as I get it right here on the Millionaire Morning Show, and we're going to hold these people accountable.
I am curious if you've heard anything about this, or did you witness this happening?
This is a complete fabrication. I mean, either she wasn't there and was misinformed, or she's just straight out lying. I mean, you're talking about an 80-year-old congresswoman, another congresswoman, and Congressman Menendez. They grabbed, slammed no one. No one stormed the place. There is a video. First of all, there's videos from all angles that reporters had, as a matter of fact, news agencies. There's a video that shows.
But we're going to get the body cam footage. We're going to find out.
All the way to the end that folks have who were out there taping and videotaping. When this thing comes completely out, you'll see.
Hey, you notice how CNN only want to show one pieces of an angle. They don't want to show the overall view of what was happening at this particular event. But I want to see what he got to say.
Egregious these lies are. Nobody stormed anything. Those folks, when I got there, they were already inside, escorted inside by GEO and ICE to a booth to wait for Homeland Security folks to come and give them a tour. So I sat in there at least over an hour waiting on the other side of the gate for them to come out, with no discussion, no talk, no one telling me to leave, nothing, zero. And was let in, by the way. So all of this stuff is a fabrication, a complete fabrication.
Hey, imagine you have a mayor who should be doing work. I mean, come on, man. I personally have seen plenty of videos and plenty of footage of the people over in Newark, New Jersey, and the thugs over there destroying the city. Shout out to Arsenal the Rebel. Shout out to Arsenal the Rebel. Shout out to what's one of my other favorite battle rappers? Sue Surf. Shout out to Arsenal the Rebel. I think he from New Jersey. Shout out to Sue Surf. Shout out to all of them boys out there doing their thing. Imagine being from Newark, New Jersey, knowing that your mayor should be standing up for what is going on in the neighborhood and making sure that there's a police presence, meeting the people and meeting the expectations of the people that voted for him. But he's outside of a migrant facility, not doing his job, and then he's on CNN trying to get some visibility so he can get some clout. Imagine that.
This officer was sent there, the special agent in charge was sent there specifically to arrest me.
Okay, so you said that members of Congress were
car
led
said
into
it's
the
the
facility,
armpit of
and they
America.
are allowed to go into ICE facilities without prior arrangements.
Why would they let him go? Tell me that's not who I think it is. Why would they let him go into an ICE facility voluntarily, uninvited, just because he pulled up?
That is part of their duties.
Red Man is too.
You as the mayor are not afforded that right. Why were you there? And you said that there were no issues before.
Why were they at the
happened?
gate? Why are they at the gate? Why are they at the gate trying to permit or prevent them from being able to move in and out and take care of business? Why are they at the gate causing an insurrection?
Really riled up.
Oh, he running for governor?
Ended up being in handcuffs,
Makes sense.
arrested.
Looking for the visibility.
It's clear if you see the video, they riled it up. They escalated. I was there because, ultimately we have a dispute with GEO. I've been there every single day in the morning, every day, serving them with the fire inspector and the health inspector, with UCC inspectors. We're in dispute in court, serving them because they won't allow the fire inspectors entry into the property to do their inspections for certificate of occupancy. They won't allow them in. We go there every day and serve them. I was there that morning. I was called back to come down for a press conference that the Congress people were having after they viewed the inside so they could tell us about what was going on. And I was going to participate in that press conference. That's why I was there. And I have a right to be there. I'm the mayor of the city of Newark. I have a right to make sure that people are following our rules, our laws, and that there's transparency, especially in a private kind of facility like this. So I came down there for that purpose only. The special agent in charge who came there escalated that situation. And I'm sure he escalated it because he was told to. And they came directly for me. And this lie about more people were arrested, that's not true. It was only one person arrested that day, and that was me. No one else was arrested. No one else was in a car. No one else was in cuffs. No one else sat in the ICE detention facility or Homeland Security's detention facility. But
he's looking to be a martyr. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is looking to be a martyr. He's looking to have visibility. What? I don't know what this is. He's looking to have visibility. He's looking to be a martyr. He wants visibility. He wants to be the man. Apparently somebody is saying that, you know, he is looking to run for governor. If he's looking to run for governor, if he's looking to run for governor, y'all tell me how good of a mayor he's been. Because I haven't heard anything that is positive as far as this guy. I haven't heard anything positive from this guy at all. Y'all tell me how good of a mayor this guy is if he's running for governor.
That's it. No other protester, no protester was there, no Congress people, no elected officials, no bystanders, just me.
Do you worry at all, Mayor, about when you look at some of the numbers when people are polled and they tend to agree with some of what the administration is doing when it comes to how it is they're trying to get immigrants who are here undocumented out of the country? Are you worried about the optics here at all for Democrats when you look at the way in which people are seeing the immigration fight go down?
I'm worried about the erosion of the Constitution of the United States, the erosion of democracy, this authoritarianism that's coming here. And if the polls look like that, it's because people are controlling the conversation and we're allowing them to. We're making them believe that the only people that they're attacking are gang members, child rapists, murderers, as they keep saying over and over and over again. They're not talking about people that they have green cards, or people that have visas that they're kidnapping off the street, or individuals that are in fact citizens of the United States that get caught up into this mayhem, or individuals who are waiting for the process to be finished. That could be 6 or 7 years, who have already tried to become citizens and are waiting for that process. When they make a decision not to allow to go through that process, and they grab them and deport them and separate them from their families. These are more of those people than more of the others that they're talking about. And so when we begin talking about that and changing the dialogue to that, then people begin to understand what's really happening here. The erosion of the Fourth Amendment, of due process, of the Fifth Amendment, of the 14th Amendment. And if we could disagree on immigration until we blue in the face, we can disagree on what the process should be, what our policy should be, and we can't disagree on the Constitution of the United States.
One thing that I've learned about the Constitution during this political process, and we're going to move over into the next person because he's just talking at this point. One thing I learned about the Constitution and the political process here in the United States of America is that we don't abide by it when it comes to American citizens, but we try to implement it for people that it's not meant for, which is illegal migrants into this country. We are so busy trying to justify and make people feel good about the fact that they're over here illegally. You don't have rights as an illegal migrant, as a person. You have to be on your best behavior. You got to take care of business. You can't be protesting and tearing up stuff. You can't be doing things illegally. At any point, for whatever reason y'all don't realize, is that at any point you could be deported from the United States of America if you are not an American citizen. At any point. And Trump want them out. And they want Americans to come first. They can't keep taking up our resources. You can't keep doing what you want to do. If you are not here legally, taking care of business, doing what you're supposed to do, and being a contributing member to society, then you cannot be here in the United States of America. We are closed for business. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. Jerry says it's always black raps advocating for illegals. That's a fact. At the end of this show, if we have time, I'm going to play something and I want to have a conversation with you guys. Victor Williams says, born and raised in Newark, anyone that says they like Ras Baraka are low capacity and don't even vote. Last mayoral election had a total of 17,000 votes out of almost 300,000 residents. All of this fake outrage coming from smooth brain, low capacity people is insane. Y'all only had 17,000 people pull up out of 300,000 residents in Newark. Shout out to my dog, Victor Williams. Dang, Dems are just stunt men, nothing more. Yeah, they just causing a ruckus. It's a popularity contest. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Newark is about an hour northeast from me. Shout out to ADRM. I appreciate you. ABJ's wide, strong, and smooth. I like that profile picture to you too. You look pretty professional. Imagine thinking doing this was gonna work. I don't know what they looking at. Honestly, I think it's just a popularity contest. Democrats didn't act like this with Obama, says AJ Wise. Facts. Rio's Family Garden says, good morning, AD in the chat. These Dems are losing their minds. Agreed. Bilderberg Boy says, good morning, AD. Yes, I'm from Newark, New Jersey, born and raised. I own several properties in the city and know Raz personally. He is a jackass. Never liked him. Cynthia Haynes, what up to Cynthia? Anton, I really admire, appreciate, and respect your ability to be compassionate, fair, and honest with your viewers. I embrace and listen to your wisdom, wise words. I will always share your videos, and thank you, sir. Thank you, Cynthia. Who say ladies don't love AD? I know nurses love AD. I know Cynthia Haynes love AD, and I know the ladies love AD. I'm coming to y'all city soon. Victor Williams Jr. says he's guaranteed to win the election for governor because folks only care about performative acts and symbolism instead of policy. If y'all let him become governor of New Jersey, that's crazy. Sent you the riot we had in 2020 in California. Shout out to Crown. Brothers Keeper says that CNN news reporter looked like Vanessa Del Rio. Jesus, Lord have mercy. Kenny the Robot says, as someone who knows people from Newark, most of the residents say he does a terrible job and they don't like him. Why are they voting for him then? Why are y'all voting in people? Bilderberg Boy says, Ras is like the Brandon Johnson, a former high school principal. The elderly black folks love him. And the elderly black folks ain't got nothing to do but to go to the polls. Courtney Yeager says, what's the word, AD? Slow motion just got back in town. Making sure I'm in the studio cooking up. Andrew T says, I'm a firefighter. If you are denied entry for an inspection, we have to get a court order warrant from the judge. Sounds like they didn't have one. All right. Shout out to my dog, Andrew T. Thank you for contributing into the platform. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's move on, right? I want to get into Trump. So before we get into the tariffs, the pause on tariffs, because everybody is acting like Trump couldn't do it, and he's doing it, but we going to get there. Before we get to that, I also got news that Trump is willing to accept a new plane. That the people over in Qatar was offering Trump a new plane as a thank you, as an appreciation gift. For what? Wesley Turner, I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Let's get into it, y'all. So a new Air Force One based off of a gift, and we don't have to pay for it as taxpayers? Let's get into it.
President Trump preparing for a major foreign trip, leaving tomorrow for crucial meetings in the Middle East. Hi, I'm Phil Lipoff. He will make stops in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE over the next several days, and notably, no plans to visit Israel.
Is it Qatar or is it Qatar? I thought it was a Qatar. I didn't know it was Qatar. Somebody correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
The trade war, ongoing attacks in the Middle East, and peace talks in the Russia-Ukraine war are expected to dominate much of that discussion. And while in Qatar, sources tell ABC News, President Trump is expected to accept
is he saying it right or
what's
am I saying
likely
it
the
right?
most
Let me know
expensive gift a foreign government has ever given to a U.S. president, a super luxury Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet.
All right, so I'm going to pronounce
the president plans to use as the new Air Force One. Aviation experts say the plane is worth an estimated $400 million before the U.S. Air Force makes modifications that the president will need. Let's get right to ABC News senior White House correspondent.
Let me rewrite. What do you say? $400 million? That's how much it is. And then the U.S. Air Force make modifications. Let me see.
The president plans to use as the new Air Force One. Aviation experts say the plane is worth an estimated
Both are right.
$400 million before the U.S. Air Force makes modifications that the president will need. Let's get right to ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang and ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy. Selena, I want to begin with you. What are President Trump's top priorities outside of the jet with this trip to the Middle East? And does this luxury plane from Qatar raise any red flags in Washington?
Yeah, well, Phil, first of all, the fact that the president is choosing Saudi Arabia as the first major foreign trip of his second term just signifies this growing political and economic relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia under the Trump administration. You'll remember that Saudi Arabia was also where President Trump had chosen to take his first foreign trip in his first term. And he's once again breaking tradition by skipping over America's closest neighbors. Now, this does come as the Gulf has played a critical role in mediating conflicts around the world, including the war in Ukraine, with Saudi Arabia serving as a venue for separate U.S. talks with both Russia and Ukraine. This also comes as the Trump administration is trying to make progress when it comes to the humanitarian crisis and the war in Gaza. Now, when it comes to that luxury plane, it's
y'all said this is red flags
about whether or not it's legal for the Trump administration and ultimately the Trump Presidential Library Foundation to accept such a valuable gift from a foreign power. But sources are telling us that both the White House and the Department of Justice have concluded that because the gift doesn't come with any conditions, it's not conditioned on any official act, they're considering that this does not constitute bribery.
Mick, what's most at stake as President Trump meets with these leaders?
So, Phil, of course.
Well, I guess the real question that we need to ask ourselves, all right, objectively speaking, it's two questions that come with this. Why are they doing it, A, and then who has to pay for it if we decide that we don't want to take it? Because obviously Trump is already saying that, and he's had these conversations in the previous interviews, even in his first term, that the United States of America needed a new Air Force One or they needed an additional Air Force One. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, are they sending this as a thank you gift from what they've already benefited off of the United States of America, and they're just huge fans of Trump and the way that we do business with them, because what's beneficial for them is both beneficial for us, and that it's an equal exchange, and so we don't have to give up anything in addition in order to get the plane, number one. And then number two, if we don't accept this, well, the taxpayers then have to foot the additional $400 million in order to buy the plane. That's the question that you have to ask yourself as we go through this. And I want to hear more about it before I give you my opinion on it. Let's continue.
Of course, there is a lot of economic aspects to this, particularly investments in the United States when it comes to these countries. But it's also important to point out that a lot of our military assets in the region are housed and hosted by these countries. Including our forward command center for Central Command and our major air operations, major maritime operations are all in this region, some of which are hosted by the countries you already mentioned. So it is important for us to show our appreciation for that, because it gives us the ability to project force to this region that's really unparalleled among any other countries.
And Selena, these trade talks between the U.S. and China are underway, as you know, in Switzerland. I know you've been digging into this. Any progress towards lowering tariffs yet?
So we'll get there on the trade talks very, very shortly. Let me pivot for a minute and see if I can get this from another angle before. And I always like to get it from the money angle, the CNBC angle, before we start talking about, and I give you my opinion on the situation.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. President Trump preparing to accept a luxury jet from the royal family of Qatar, which the president will then use as a new Air Force One. That's according to sources who spoke with NBC News. The White House planning to retrofit the $400 million Boeing 747 jet so it can be used in Trump's official capacity as president. Two sources saying the plane will then be transferred to the president's Library Foundation at the end of his second term, which would then allow him to continue flying on that plane. But Qatar's media attaché now to the U.S. called the transfer, quote, possible, as no decision has been made.
Okay, all right. So this is why I always want to get all of the facts. Before we start speaking on it, I want to get it from a money perspective, a political perspective. I want to see what the ops are saying and people that agree and that are Republican and conservative. All right, so this is So you know how Trump was traveling on the Trump plane and he was crisscrossing the country, and it wasn't Air Force One, but he was traveling on his own plane to, take care of everything. Now, it's not going to him personally, it's going to his foundation, which is basically him personally, but he don't have to personally take ownership or responsibility. It's more or less a business transaction. Now, what they're saying is that we want you to be able to fly on this plane. We're going to give it to you as a gift. The U.S. taxpayers don't have to pay for it, but you'll be able to keep the plane. So he's not replacing what Air Force One has already has him flying on from a security perspective right now. What they're saying is that this will be your own personal plane, but we would like for you to use it as a gift during your current administration and getting around the country. And then you can keep it as a part of your presidential library, which one of the things that we've seen is a lot of the billionaires that came up and kissed the ring, especially when Trump first became president of the United States of America for the second time, we've seen them donate to his presidential library. We've seen, I believe, Jeff Bezos do it. I believe that Mark Zuckerberg did it over there at Meta and Facebook. And so the presidential library is now the cash cow because it allows for people to contribute into it for him to be able to, do what he needs to do and then also still remain the greatest president of all time, even after he leaves office. Not at the taxpayer dime, though.
New Air Force One planes are years now behind schedule and billions of dollars over budget, but the possible gift from Qatar raising some legal and ethical questions. After some of those surfaced yesterday, the president...
Somebody says, stop trying to dress it up. It is what it is. Stop trying to dress what up? I haven't even given my opinion yet. Look at y'all already in your emotions. I haven't said yay or nay. All I'm doing is summarizing what has been contributed to Trump so that we better understand, and then we can have the conversation, and then I will give you my opinion afterwards. What do you mean don't try to dress it up? All I'm telling you is what he just told you and what the previous video told you in a summary form. I haven't even given my opinion yet. You so emotional. Get out, dog. You emotional like your mama. You your mama's son. You your mama's son. Stop being emotional. We haven't even gotten through this particular segment yet. I haven't even given my opinion yet. You your mama's son. Don't be emotional. Hold off for 1 second and let us get all of the facts, all right?
And posted on his social network the following. So the fact that the Defense Department is getting a gift free of charge of a 747 aircraft to replace the 40-year-old Air Force One temporarily in a very public and transparent transaction so bothers the crooked Democrats that they insist we pay top dollar for the plane. Anybody can do that. The Dems are the world-class losers. MAGA.
I have a different take on this.
What's your take?
Would you accept a phone that the Chinese government gave you, or a car that the Russians gave you on some of these things? It's like too easy to...
Just arguing it's bugged, maybe.
Well, yes. Either bugged, or they could have a kill switch that takes it down at some point. Not that I think Qatar is necessarily doing that, but there's a reason to not accept Trojan horses from other places. Look, Boeing's in disgrace for not getting this up and running faster. This was put together in the first Trump administration to get the new Air Force One there. They are behind on so many things, and they should have put more focus on this.
I don't know how you get around
the emoluments.
What's the laws?
It's the emoluments clause. You can't accept gifts from a foreign government.
Right. So I thought it was going to the library afterwards, like, have you been out to the Reagan?
Well, so that's
I thought it was going to be sitting there.
The big one, yeah.
That's what they were saying, that the sort of structural model, if you will, in terms of the approach they were going to take was to try to follow the Reagan approach, except that Reagan put the plane in the library. Yeah. And the idea, at least in this instance, according to the reporting that I read, I don't know, was that he would be able to continue to fly on the plane.
That I didn't think of.
That was the sort of concept of how they were going to do this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of the bugging of it. I just wish that Boeing could actually get its act together and we can make a plane that we actually need and want. And so, but apparently he did take a tour of this plane.
By the way, it is a Boeing plane.
Right.
It's just
he apparently toured this exact plane.
Qataris have.
When it was, I think, in
February,
Florida.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a nice plane. If you've seen the inside of it.
So basically what they're saying is they're under the assumption that we aren't competent enough to actually be able to sweep the plane, vet the plane, make sure that the plane is doing what it's supposed to do, that it would be some sort of Trojan horse. That and or the optics of it in general, as far as Trump shouldn't be able to accept a plane from Qatar or Qatar.
I mean, people like us and like Bernie that need to be places. I mean, standing in these lines is a big pain for all of us. And, Newark is one of our airports. I would accept the citation. Not looking for a Boeing. So I would accept
a citation.
A citation 10.
From those viewers out there with access, we have there's no amount.
Or Qatar.
There is a clause. We do have a clause, though.
Yeah.
My opinion of the situation is, I think that more due diligence need to be vetted, because I don't want anybody to come back later and then say that. Well, all right, let me look at it from all angles. I got 4 points that I want to make about this. My first point that I want to make about this is that I have never seen a president be so transparent. I believe that politicians, people that do deals, I believe that there's people that get gifts, people that is taken care of, people that is gifted things as a result of them doing business and making business decisions with these people behind the scenes all the time. I do not think that this is new. I think that people get these type of gifts and that these type of decisions are made on a regular basis. That's number one. I appreciate the fact that this is very transparent, and the first thing that they did was say, hey, listen, they want to offer us a plane. We haven't accepted it yet, but we're considering it, and we need to have this conversation. The one thing that you cannot say about this president is that there is nothing to expose, because everything that he does, he puts it on the front page for people to be able to know what's going on, regardless of what it is that they agree with or they disagree with. There is no, as far as we can see right now, there is no back door, because everything is on the front page and they saying, hey, listen, it's nothing for you to discover, because we are considering their offer of giving us a $400 million plane for us to modify and for me to use after I become president, or after my presidency is over. So that's the first thing that I have to say. The second thing that I'm concerned about is, are we the ones that's paying for it, the taxpayers? And if the answer is no, then I don't care. I genuinely don't care. If they want to gift him a president and say, hey, listen, I appreciate you, thank you, rocking out. I think that the problem with a lot of people is that they care about the size of the president and whether or not it is appropriate. Let me ask you guys a question. Would you guys accept the plane? Have you guys accepted an inappropriate gift? If your job or somebody that you do business with give you a gift and they say, hey, man, we appreciate you, and you've brought so much value to what we got going over here, we want to strengthen ties, and so here's a gift as a result of it, are you taking it or are you turning it down? Because I see a lot of hypocrites in the chat right now. Samantha says the thing is, if he accepts this, just remember it opens the door for future presidents to do the same thing. I think that the presidents have already been doing the same thing. What you think, that Biden and Hunter Biden has been operating above board for a long time? Malik Two-Turn says, no, you are the hypocrite. How am I the hypocrite? I didn't accept anything from anybody. I'm the hypocrite. What am I hypocritical about? Hey, shout out to all of the son husbands that are emotional. Shout out to all of the son husbands that are emotional. Me personally, I would not accept the gift. That is what I stand on. I am not available to accept anything from anybody because I've always believed that there's something that comes along with it. I'm not the gift acceptor, I'm the gift giver. I've always believed in being the gift giver. I'm not the gift acceptor, I'm the gift giver. That means that I'm the person that's trying to make the decisions and control the narrative. So I don't need anything from anybody unless it's a part of a negotiated package. So if you're calling me a hypocrite, and I'm not sure why you would call me a hypocrite, that just being your emotions and you thinking like your mama be thinking. So I wouldn't accept anything from anybody. However, I don't see anything wrong with it on the surface based off of the details that they've given us, and that it's not going to cost American taxpayers. I'm not the gift acceptor, I'm the gift giver. That's what I believe. I'm the lender, not the borrower. I'm the lender, not the borrower. I've always stood on that from a business perspective. So you can say whatever it is that you want about me. Trust me. It's funny because a lot of times when I see people talk negatively about me and they'll say something like, he must be getting paid by this person or he must be getting paid by this organization. No, I'm not the person that receives. I'm the person that offers. I'm the person that think long term. Stop thinking like Dusty. Stop thinking like the basketball players and start thinking like the owners. And you'll start to get it. But we'll get there later. Maybe I'll do a whole Patreon thing on it. I don't know if I could do that one because then I would have to expose some of the things that I say. And I can't say that even in a Patreon. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. I want to get over to China, but before we get over to China, let me read some of these super chats. Wesley Turner says, Jersey Shore, Newark is 35 minutes from me, but we getting a Netflix studio in Eaton, though. Oh, y'all getting a Netflix studio? That's dope. Scooby Don says, if taxpayers pay it, will be $1 billion, not $400 million. Well, that's because they would be spending money on security and outfitting and all of that stuff. The plane could possibly be a Trojan horse. Yeah, I heard you say that. But I guess that would assume that we don't have sufficient security and measures to vet that out. Mun says, thank God, TGIM, another week. Thank God it's Monday, another week to be great and run up a bag. Shout out to Eric Thomas. I love Eric Thomas. Allows fire him to be corrupt. All right. Whatever that meant. Allows for him to be corrupt. I guess that's what he meant. Shout out to Jerome Gray. I appreciate you. Ice Bob or I Kebab says he spoke earlier and said he is going to accept the free gift and going to add it to the library, but he's personally not going to use it. Oh, so he's not even using it. Okay. Latrell says, I wouldn't accept the gift because a gift with strings isn't a gift. Well, we don't know if it's strings. And also, let me say that, does that change your mind if he said that he doesn't plan on using it? A lot of y'all haven't been in certain circles. I will tell you this also, all right? When somebody offers you a nice gift, and that is their cultural norm or their standard or what their expectation is, and it doesn't come with strings attached, sometimes people are just nice. Other times people are just appreciative. And I will also say, and this don't have nothing to do with a $400 million plane, but just in general, people get offended if you turn down a gift. Listen to what I'm saying. People with resources, a lot of times they get offended when you turn down the gift. And it doesn't even mean that it comes with anything. It could be because that's just a standard. You can almost be spitting in their faces when you say, oh, no, I don't need it, or no, I'm not interested, or I won't accept gifts. A lot of people take that as to be offensive. A lot of cultures take that to be offensive. If you don't have any real reason and you're just turning down a gift because of the optics or whatever like that, different cultures actually look at that as offensive. Now, y'all may not have experienced that. You may not. I look at it as offensive a lot of times when somebody say, oh, no, I don't need it or whatever. And it's like, hey, take the stupid gift. Now you aggravate me. If I'm out here and I'm giving out this or I'm giving out that or whatever, so on and so forth, or let's say I'm distributing bonus checks or whatever, and you know what, the thing that aggravates me the most, and then we're going to get over into this China situation. One of the things that aggravates me the most is when you do something for somebody or you get them a gift or you get them a Christmas gift, like as a bonus or something like that, and you get them something real luxury or you give them an extra payment or something. Oh, no, I'm not, you take care of yourself. You do it. It's like, okay. I got you. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like you kind of look at it as like, why are you trying to prove to me that you don't need me? I don't think that you need me, but this is something that I'm just showing a level of appreciation for you for because of the value that you add to me. Stop trying to prove to me that you don't need anything because it's offensive. Have you ever been out to dinner with somebody and you taking out the group and then, oh, no, I can pay for my, and it's like, now you're making yourself more important in the program. It's not about you. This is just a standard of what we do. I've been out to a bunch of corporate dinners, or I've been out to a bunch of corporate events, or even with an outing with the crew, or with corporate America or whatever. Corporate is paying for it. Accept the gift. You making it a bigger deal than it has to be, it then starts to become a little bit more offensive because it's like, what are you trying to prove? And it's a weird dynamic, but I guess when you've been in certain spaces for a while, you start to look at it a little bit differently. But there are some cultures and some people that look at it as offensive. They look at it as offensive. And it doesn't even mean anything to them. It's not even a big deal to them. Cole Shice says, I can't wait until the Q show tonight. She never let us down on Monday nights. Thanks, my baby Q and my Mr. Robinson voice. I will tell y'all that it's going to be an incredible show tonight. I can't tell you the theme. I can't tell you what we're going to talk about. I can't tell you exactly how it's going to play out or anything like that. But I will tell you it's going to be an incredible show. The reason that I can't tell you is because there's so many biters, so many people that copy, so many people that don't have their own creativity in conversations. But it is going to be an incredible show tonight. I guarantee you it's going to be rocking tonight. We're going to get it popping. John Jones says, folks who have never been exposed to wealth will never understand it. Facts. I agree. A lot of people are dusty. Cartier82 says, Anton, you are absolutely right. A Filipino woman got offended when I rejected her. I wasn't sure if she was a ladyboy. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Credit K, you think so? I think it's a great show. And Credit K, let me also say that I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being willing to express your thoughts. Even though you don't know how to, type it correctly, I appreciate you for expressing your thoughts. We take all feedback. We're not offended. We don't get offensive. You haven't said anything personal about anything. And let me just reestablish the rules of the chat for the people in the back, y'all. All opinions and all thoughts is welcome. The chat lives matters and we don't censor anybody. As long as you are not overly disrespectful. As you can see, there are plenty of people that come here every single day and they disagree with me on every single subject that I've ever talked about in my entire life, no matter whether I'm looking at it from a conservative or a liberal perspective or anything. Even if I'm being objective, they have never agreed with me. And guess what? They are valued here. So we don't censor people, but we do ask for you to be respectful, because if it comes with overly disrespect, then we might have to time you out and put you on a pip. All right? Okay? Michael says, bring it on, Myron is going to mess up your bag, AD. You think so? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Myron is very respectful of my platforms. Both times that I've had him on after hours, He prefaced it by saying it's his thoughts, and he's not disrespectful towards anybody, but he just gives his thoughts, and he doesn't go off the rails, and he still has a YouTube channel, and so YouTube still rocks with him. He may not necessarily be monetized on the platform, but he treats my platform with respect, and I got a lot of love for what Myron has said on the platform, and so I disagree with you 100%. I disagree with you 100%. We have to start opening our minds and our eyes to the possibility that other people have contributing things that they can say inside of platforms. The subjects that we talk about isn't even up the same road as the things that you guys don't necessarily care for them for. And so I personally, let me say something about Myron in particular. The reason why me and Myron have been cordial and having conversations and stuff like that is because I took accountability for the fact that I judged him. I prejudged him before I actually had to have a conversation with him. And it was all based off of a bunch of stuff that was stemming from Kevin Samuels as far as people choosing sides and stuff like that. And so what I realized is that I no longer want to be at odds with people that I've never met before. I no longer want to be at odds with anybody, let alone people that I've never met before. And so I'm going to give the same energy that I expect from other people. And so I initiated it by reaching out and basically offering an olive branch, and he accepted it. And so, my relationship with him so far has been cool. I think that he's been a cool person. I like that he has his own opinion. I don't 100% agree with him on everything that he says, but my personal experience with him has not been negative, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus just because y'all want me to, because y'all feel some type of way about him. I don't have a negative disposition towards him, and as we continue to work together or have conversations, then we'll figure that out as we go. But as of right now, I prejudged him. I judged him wrong. And I'm willing to take ownership and responsibility for that. And I appreciate him for saying, you know what, I used to want to do something with you, but then I got turned off by it, by your opinion of me, and I had never said nothing about you. And I said, I take responsibility for that. I apologize. Let me figure out how I can make this right and move forward. And so that's what men do. Men don't get in their emotions. Men are willing to be honest about where they at. They're willing to take responsibility and figure out how they can make it right and move on. Some people choose to go the opposite way. And I say, okay, you know what? I respect that too. But I don't want to be enemies with anybody. I'm not interested in beefing with people. I don't want to have a negative disposition about somebody that I've never met before. I don't want to do that no more. I'm going to evaluate each and every individual based off of my own interaction with them. And then I'm going to make my assessment then. So as of right now, I have no problems with them whatsoever. And I tell y'all all the time, I say it all the time, I am open to the possibility that I'm wrong, and nobody is above reproach. And I am always willing to bring myself to the front of the congregation first before I start to hold everybody else accountable. I'm not above it. I'm not above it. And I'm not telling you that you guys have to feel some type of way and embrace it, because you have your own opinion based off of the content and whether you like it or not. I'm saying that I don't have any problem with it. And I also respect some other friends that I may have that may not necessarily care for them, but that has nothing to do with it. I'm not choosing sides no more. I'm not choosing sides anymore. I'm not. That y'all interaction with each other don't have nothing to do with me. My interaction with a person is my interaction with a person, and I'm going to evaluate everybody individually. I'm not choosing sides no more. I'm too grown for that. I'm 43 years old. We too old to be beefing. Too old. So, y'all don't agree with me some of the times. That don't mean that y'all don't rock with me. So, anyways, that's my opinion on that. Let's get into the whole Trump-China situation. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Liberals are mad. Liberals are mad. Rashid Kensington says Trump, as usual, cave into China, and China would make it a 0% tariff. Really? Is that what you think happened? All right, well, let's go into it. And let me also say I appreciate you guys in the chat for contributing into the chat and giving y'all diverse opinions. Some people agree, some people disagree. Let's evaluate it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. This is the initial report, the most recent report of Trump and what's going on with China now that there's a 90-day pause so that they can continue the negotiations. Let's check it out.
To the latest on the president's trade war and news breaking overnight that China and the U.S. have reached a short-term agreement. Our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, is tracking the latest on this trade deal. Good morning, Rachel.
Michael, good morning to you. And this is a breakthrough in talks between the world's two largest economies, but it's also a dramatic retreat from President Trump's 145% tariffs that he imposed on Chinese imports. After all of the tough talk and hard lines, both sides agreeing to dramatically roll back their tariffs, at least for now.
I always like to get it from all perspectives, even from people that may not necessarily align with my political views, like ABC. We all know that Trump doesn't care for ABC because ABC is always trying to paint the narrative a certain way. But I like to get it from all sides. And so let's get it from this side first.
This morning, the Trump administration emerging from a marathon weekend of negotiations, announcing the U.S. has reached a trade deal with China to significantly lower most tariffs for 90 days.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially moved down the tariff levels.
The U.S. agreed to roll back its steep 145% tariff on Chinese imports to 30%, and China agreeing to lower its tax on American goods from 125% to 10% for weeks.
So, how was that any different than what Trump has said initially that he wanted? He said that we had to have the upper hand in these conversations and in these agreements. And the only reason why we raised it to 145% was because China had raised it to 125%. And so we were doing reciprocal tariffs, but there needed to be a tariff because it was an imbalance on the way that we are treated, not only with the amount of goods and services that they're selling over here to the United States of America to continue to make their country rich, but because of how they treat us and how they treat our businesses and how we're not allowed to do business in the same way that they are allowed to do business over here in the United States of America. So they both decided to have saner heads prevail during discussions, which Trump had already said that he was going to do because he said that he had been talking to China. China lied about it and said that they hadn't been having discussions in the first place. They have been having discussions, obviously. And so when liberals were saying, no, they're not even talking to Trump, and he's just like, no, they've been under trade negotiations for a long time. And when they reached the deal with the UK, which is a waterfall agreement, it sets the precedent the same way that I said that it sets the precedent, and I explained this last week, it set the precedent for how they're going to negotiate with other countries. It then translated into China lowering their tariffs and the U.S., well, they're both agreeing to lower tariffs to 10 and 30%, which we still have the upper hand, but yet you'll still see the liberal media sit here and tell you, oh, Trump caved. How did he cave? He decided to reduce the tariffs to 30% to their 10% because that is what reciprocal tariffs are. This is very simple. This is not even anything that's overly complicated, but let's continue in with the show.
The president has been defiant about keeping his tariffs in place, even as markets tumbled and retailers warned their shelves could go empty.
I know what the hell I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and you know what I'm doing, too.
China took a hard line, too, insisting no matter how long the trade war lasts, we'll never yield. But just as both sides touched down in Geneva, Switzerland for those high-stakes talks, the president with a change in tone, suggesting he would be willing to drop his tariffs even lower to 80%. The deal the U.S. reached is much lower than that.
We concluded that we have shared interest. The consensus from both delegations this weekend is neither side wants a decoupling.
On Wall Street, stock futures surging as the U.S. and China return back to the negotiating table in hopes of reaching a long-term deal.
Trump told you guys, and I actually played it, I believe either Thursday or Friday. Trump told you guys, and he said, listen, buy stocks now. We are about to be in the golden era, the golden age of success. It is going to be an unprecedented time of wealth for Americans in the United States of America. Y'all need to get in while it's low. I said it on April 2nd. You guys were sitting there acting crazy. Oh my God, look at our retirement. In less than 45 days, everything has fully recovered and stocks are surging. So you were so mad and upset. I'm leaving Anton. I won't acknowledge it. I said, well, don't sell. You ain't got to worry about it. What, you retiring tomorrow? Don't sell. I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay within 6 months. I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay within a year. Just sit, keep doing what you're doing, keep on dollar cost averaging, make sure that you put a lump sum of money into it so that we can get really rich as a result of it, and stocks are surging. Why? Because we have trade talks and trade deals on the table that are customized. We call it bespoke. All right, it's called bespoke. Bespoke means that it's customized to each customer's needs. Everything is booming. Everything is making money. All of the things have recovered, and we running up a bag, and you sitting here on your hands because you felt some type of way. And this is why I keep telling you, stop acting like your mama. Get out of your mama's emotions. Pray that away. Pray away the gay. Pray away the gay. Get out of your emotions. We make business decisions. This dude hadn't been in office for less than 100 days, and y'all was already, oh, God, I can't believe it. Sell everything. Get out of your emotions and hold off for 1 second so that you can benefit from this, because we are about to have one of the greatest moments in history, and you not going to be able to miss when it comes to running up a bag. Join the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Good God.
So investors are rejoicing this morning, but the full economic impact of this on and off again trade war still remains very unclear at this point. That question will be answered likely in 90 days as these two sides continue their negotiations, Michael.
Yeah. So for the next 90 days, it is going to be a 30% tariff on China instead of 145%, which means that y'all can get y'all Shein and y'all Temu products while Trump negotiates the master plan to make sure that Americans are benefiting from what's happening inside of the White House. Let's continue. This is Trump himself discussing the pause on tariffs with China.
Today, we achieved a total reset with China after productive talks in Geneva. Both sides now agreed to reduce the tariffs imposed after April 2nd to 10% for 90 days as negotiators continue on the largest structural issues. And I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, that doesn't include the tariffs that are already on, that are our tariffs, and it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that.
Got to protect our industries.
Or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back to the United States, and they're already starting to come back now based on tariffs. Because they don't want to pay 25, 50, or 100% tariffs, so they're moving them back to the United States. I spoke to Tim Cook this morning, and he's going to, I think, even up his numbers, $500 billion. He's going to be building a lot of plants in the United States for Apple.
Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. This is why it's great to have good Jesus, hold on. This is why it's great to have great relationships with the people that you're doing business with. All right, let's continue.
And we look forward to that. I really do look forward to that. But the talks in Geneva were very friendly. The relationship is very good. We're not looking to hurt China. China was being hurt very badly. They were closing up factories. They were having a lot of unrest. And they were very happy to be able to do something with us. And the relationship is very, very good. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week. We have some other things we're doing. But one of the biggest things that we're doing, and I don't know if people realize this, but we made a great deal with China, a great trade deal. But it was a much bigger deal originally, and then they canceled it right in the last day. Some of you faces I remember were there when that happened. I remember you. And we had a deal where they opened up their country to trade with the United States. And they took that away at the last moment, and then I canceled the whole thing. And then 6 months later, we ended up doing a smaller deal, but it was a big deal. It was $50 billion worth of product that they were going to purchase from our farmers, et cetera. And we agreed to that. People thought it was 15 because they were doing 15. We made it 50 because I misunderstood the 15. I said, you got to get 50. Because when I asked, if you remember the story, when I asked, what are we doing with them? My Secretary of Agriculture at the time, Sonny Perdue, said, sir, it's about 15 billion and we're asking for 15. And I thought he said 50. So I said, so they came back with the deal at 15. And I said, no way, I want 50 because you said 50. They said, sir, we didn't say that. Anyway, bottom line, I said, go back and ask for 50. And they gave us 50. And they were honoring the deal. And we would call them up a lot for the corn and for the wheat and for everything. They were honoring the deal. And then when Biden got in, they no longer honored the deal. There was nobody to call. I would call on an average of once every 2 weeks to say, come on, you have to speed it up a little bit. And our farmers were doing great. I said to them, buy more land and bigger tractors, if you remember. That's what happened. But the deal was a very good deal. But the best part of the deal was that we opened up China. China agreed to open itself up to American business to go in. And it would have been a great thing, I think, for China. They would be able to see things that they haven't seen. They would be able to buy products that they had never been able to buy. Would have been great for American business. I think it would have brought unity between China, better unity between China and the United States. And the bottom line is that they canceled it the last day. We were all set to sign it, and then I went a little bit angry. I got a little angry. I said, they canceled the deal. The deal was done. It was all ready to be signed, and people went over. They came back to me, sir, they don't want to sign the opening up China. Well, the biggest thing that we're discussing is the opening up China, and they've agreed to do that. But it's going to take a while to paper it. You know, that's not the easiest thing to paper.
Let me say this. What is he saying? Again, I'm going to break it down from a C student's perspective for the people in the chat. Thank you to the more than 4,300 people that is watching this on YouTube alone. Let me explain it to you in a C student's perspective. The foundation of us negotiating with China did not start at the first 100 days of his second term. It started when he initially put tariffs on China and the rest of the world and stopped them from dumping cheap steel and trash products into the United States of America and taking advantage of the United States of America in his first term, which was a long-term negotiation. It was a longer negotiation that was being implemented. And what happened? When he lost the second election, which I don't believe that he lost, because again, you're never going to convince me that 81 million people voted for Biden. But when the second election happened, I don't think that they thought that Trump would ever become president again in the first place. And so they started looking at Biden like a sucker. And even though he left tariffs in place for the most part, as far as what we started to implement against China, he wasn't able to leverage it because he didn't have the vision and he didn't do the thing that Trump was executing on in his first term. And so when China cut off the deal for opening themselves up for being able to take in our products at the same rate that we're taking in their products, so we then become an exporter nation instead of just an import nation, and we have the biggest consumers here in the United States of America that give us all of the leverage, it all went out the door when we elected Biden to become president of the United States of America, and we replaced it with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and now we got black fatigue. That's what happened. We were more concerned about gay rights and Billy Porter dancing on the White House lawn than we were about making sure that we ran up a bag. And not only that, Biden put the cherry on top of y'all. He gave y'all some spinach and then he put the cherry on top and said, look, we're also going to make sure that we run up inflation in the United States of America by like 10%. 10%. Facts, LaToya. Biden, in my opinion, could quite possibly. Bush 2 was bad, Toya. You got to be a bad person to beat Bush 2. But he is going to go down, in my opinion, as one of the worst presidents of history. And now that we look back in history on how things are playing out, and we see Trump is making deals in less than 6 months, less than 3 months of his presidency. He has already been making deals and renegotiating and putting America in the best position possible. We already have record low inflation. Jerome Powell still refused to lower rates. We have record low inflation already in a record amount of days. He's removing people that's supposed to be here. Democrats are fighting him on every front, but we still pushing forward. And people are still skeptical that this guy is not going to be the president, the best president of all time. So now we back at the table. And I also believe, low key, this is my own personal opinion, can't substantiate it with fact. I also believe that low key, Trump is making them pay for not doing the deal the first time because they didn't think that he was going to become president again. Everybody miscalculated. Everybody miscalculated. Now they got to pay the price. Now you got to pay the piper. Now you got to give us more. Now you got to give us more now. That's what's playing out.
But that's the single, I think, to me, some people would disagree. Some people would say we're getting a lot of money with tariffs or whatever. But, you know, especially when you add what we already have. Because remember, we're already getting the 50% on steel and different things. That's not included in these numbers. So you can add that. But the biggest thing to me is the opening up. I think it would be fantastic for our businesses if we could go in and compete with China. It would be a lot of jobs for China. It would be, I think, at a time when they can frankly use the jobs. And that's what we're talking about. So that's a very, very important element to add. So when Scott, I watched him speak the other day, and I think he didn't want to say it, but I said, it's okay to say it. Look, if we don't get it, we don't get it. But if we don't get it, it won't be a positive thing. But if we do get it, I think it's maybe the most important thing to happen. Because if you think about it, we opened up our country to China. They have very few restrictions. And they didn't open their country to us. Never made sense to me. It's not fair. And they've agreed to open China, fully open China. And I think it's going to be fantastic for China. I think it's going to be fantastic for us. And I think it's going to be great for unification and peace. China will also suspend and remove all of its non-monetary barriers. They've agreed to do that. Well, they're very numerous. But again, to me, the biggest thing that came out of that meeting is they've agreed. Now we have to get it papered, but they've agreed to open up China. It's going to be great for everybody. And third, I'm very happy to announce that Idan Alexander, an American citizen who until recently most thought was no longer living, thought was dead, is going to be released in about 2 hours, actually. And he's going to be released before the eyes of Steve Witkoff, who has done a fantastic job. I just, you know,
it took us.
I know a lot of people that have a lot of talent. I know Steve had a lot of talent
in order to get Brittany Griner.
But I know a lot of people with a lot of talent. But there's one that I thought had a special way about him, special personality. Aside from being a good deal maker, had a special way about him, and it was Steve. Knew very little about the subject matter. Who does? But he learned it in about 2 hours. And he's been fantastic. So I want to just thank Steve. But they're going to be releasing Idan in about 2 hours from now, or sometime. And again, they thought he was dead just a short while ago. His parents are so happy. They're so.
Yo, shout out to the Trump administration. We got to give them a round of applause. Because I've never seen a president get this much done in my lifetime, in my 43 years on earth. I've never seen a president get so many wins and get so many dubs in such a short amount of time. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Now you got the clarification. We got it on pause for 90 days. We reduced the tariffs after they reduced their tariffs. We're negotiating a deal that not only includes us having a more fair trade, but also them opening up their borders to accept our products. And you don't just see made in China, you see made in America or made in the United States of America all across the world. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and continue on with the show. Mike Lee says, I'm so hyped you came to my city. Been there my whole life. I stay right outside of Springfield. Glad you had a good time. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I don't think that I've ever, let me think about this for a second. Is there ever a city that I visited that I said was absolute garbage? No, I don't think so. What's the worst city that I've ever visited? I visited a lot of cities. Portland? Portland wasn't a bad city. I don't think that I've ever visited a bad city as far as like me having personally a bad experience in a city. I will say that Portland was probably one of the most liberal cities that I've ever visited in my entire life. Portland was wild. I've never been to Baltimore. I'm coming though. I'm coming to Baltimore. Portland was a wild place. I just couldn't believe some of the things that I was seeing and how liberal that place was. Portland was pretty interesting. Los Angeles was, oh my God. I didn't have a bad experience. Again, I've never had a bad experience because I just know how to have fun anywhere I go. I seen so much poop on the ground in Los Angeles. Walking through and seeing the level of destruction. Listen, bro, I know y'all don't think so, but I'm gonna just tell you the honest to God truth. I visited Gary, Indiana, which is largely considered like destruction. The church was burned down, all of this stuff. Los Angeles and Portland was worse than Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana has great parts. It has good homes. It is surrounded by a university. There are parts in Gary and around Gary that's really, really nice, but they only show the bad parts. They only gonna show the hoods. They only gonna show certain places in order to try to glorify or try to make it seem like it's worse than it is. It's not. It's not that bad. It's good parts. It's just like any other city. There's good parts and there's bad parts. Los Angeles, walking down Skid Row, being in downtown, going through those alleys. I watched it. I've documented it. I placed it on my YouTube channel. Los Angeles was probably one of the most, if you aren't, I know we talk about Chicago. If you are in LA, run. Even if you have to move to another part of California. Los Angeles, let me tell you how bad Los Angeles is going to be. Los Angeles is going to be worse than when Detroit filed for bankruptcy. The exodus, the leaving of the businesses, the leaving it to the people and the migrants, Los Angeles is going to be worse than Oakland, California. That's my personal opinion. People that are waiting for it to come back, that want to move to LA, and I know when people say they move to Los Angeles, they don't really move to Los Angeles. They move to the places around Los Angeles. They move to all of the different cities around those places. Los Angeles is going to be bad. Chicago is being ran into the ground by their leaders. Los Angeles is going to be bad. I've never visited Philly, so I can't speak on Philly. Never been to Philly. Yeah, AD, as a kid, we was taught not to walk through Skid Row because I go and do what I want to do. I got to see America. I got to see what the good look like. I got to see what the bad look like. I got to see all of that. I have to see it for myself. I'm not just going to sit and make an assumption about something. I got to see it. I have to see it. Let me see let me see something. I got to read another Cash App. Hey, D, can you please unblock AR Smitty? Yeah, I'm going to unblock you. I got you, AR Smitty. I'm going to take care of it, honestly, right after the show. I got it in my notes. Let me read some more of these super chats, and then we're going to go from there. 392Q says, most women don't like me, his tone, instead of his message, thinking that they will hold the majority of people back. Both Myron and AD give massive value. RLJ says, most people have an employee mindset, not a business one. Appreciate the game, AD. Appreciate you too, my friend. Night Jade says, Jimmy left knowing he wasn't the worst. He waited. Stephen Butler says, Donald Jerome Trump out here doing work. Heard the U.S. borrowed $51 billion less than expected for April. Latrell M says, Trump is humbling China. He opening it up. He getting that bag. Trump sunk the whole world in 4 months. Jason 18 says, you know what? I don't think it's that the other leaders couldn't do it. I think that they was just too corrupt. They were too corrupt. Let's go, family. Get the likes up for our boy Ton Dog. Way too low today. Trump is the best president in my lifetime, and it's not even close. My dog Lamont Smith says, I love it when you shout out Gary. I love Gary. Gary is a spot. I love it. I love all of these cities. I live in West Hollywood, and it is by the worst. It's disgusting. It's crazy. I was over in Hollywood like, whoa, this is crazy. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. We got to continue on with the show. So, he's also offering, I told you this was going to be primarily a Trump show, right? Today, we got to address everything that's happening with the Trump administration. He's offering flights to migrants anywhere inside of the United States of America and $1,000 to be able to deport yourself. You want to make $1,000? Get on up out of here. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what Trump is saying, y'all.
We are following breaking news as the Trump administration says that it will pay illegal immigrants $1,000 to voluntarily leave the country. I did want to bring some more details of this breaking news. This announcement today saying that the administration will pay immigrants in the United States illegally who have returned to their home country voluntarily. They will pay them $1,000. This as the Trump administration continues on its mass deportation agenda.
Some people are asking and they're saying, well, why would he give them $1,000 to deport themselves? Because then it allows for our personnel, which we spend a lot more than that, to be able to get them up out of here. Think about it. If we got to detain you, we got to put you in jail. We got to possibly deal with all of these judges that's trying to block certain people from being deported. If we got to get these people out here to do an investigation, to arrest you, to throw them in a police car and all of this stuff, it takes resources to get y'all out of here when y'all should have never been here in the first place. And so it is much cheaper if you deport yourself and leave than if we was to have to do it for you. Now, we will come and get you, and we are going to come and get you, but it's cheaper for you to do it yourself. We actually save money by incentivizing you to leave. Please leave.
Department of Homeland Security issuing a news release moments ago saying that will also pay for travel assistance and that the people who use an app called CBP Home to tell the government that they plan to return home, those will be deprioritized for detention and removal by immigration enforcement. Secretary Kristi Noem saying, quote, if you are here illegally, self-deportation is the best, safest, and most cost-effective way to leave the United States to avoid arrest. DHS is now offering illegal aliens financial travel assistance and a stipend to return to their home country through the CBP Home app, end quote. Now, President Trump has made immigration enforcement one of the key priorities, along with mass deportation of immigrants in the United States illegally, but it is costly and labor intensive. This comes as the Republican administration is pushing Congress for a large increase in resources for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Department, the department responsible for removing people from the country. So I did want to share that breaking news, and I'm taking a look right now at the Homeland website right here. It says, quote, today the Department of Homeland Security announced a historic opportunity for illegal aliens to receive both financial and travel assistance to facilitate travel back to their home country through the CBP Home app. Any illegal alien who uses this app to self-deport will also receive a stipend of $1,000 paid after their return to their home country has been confirmed.
Get yourself set up for a new...
that is a quote directly from the website of the Department of Homeland Security. They're calling this the first. And also this breaking news, and I'm reading this as I'm sharing this with you, according to the DHS website, an immigrant has actually already used this travel assistance to return to Honduras. So it does appear that one immigrant, they say, who came into the country illegally has already self-deported back to Honduras, and so will likely be receiving that $1,000 stipend right here. So we continue to follow this breaking news.
Say, give me my money.
We haven't yet heard as to whether Secretary Noem is actually going to be speaking about this at a press conference, but this just released moments ago as the Department of Homeland Security announcing that people coming into this country illegally will receive both financial and travel assistance to facilitate.
So don't say that we never done nothing for y'all. Everybody want to act like somebody stole a puppy. Everybody want to act like Trump is such a bad guy. Don't say that we never done anything for you guys. We didn't just leave you with nothing, even though you came over here and you took from the people here in the United States of America. We didn't leave you with nothing. We said that we want to make sure that you're good, that you can start your fruit stand, that you can get things taken care of, that you can get mama there too. And if she signs up, she can get $1,000 also. Trump wants people gone. Promises made, promises delivered. I just think that the American people is just not used to people actually delivering on their promises the way that Trump is. I just don't think that y'all used to it. Y'all used to politicians telling you anything, you going off, doing whatever you want to do, not saying anything or whatever, and then they don't actually execute on the thing that they said that they was going to do. Promises made, promises delivered. The Trump administration is saying that he wanted the people gone, that is not supposed to be here, and this is what else he's saying that he's going to offer you guys. He's sweetening the deal for you guys.
Today, I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program for illegal aliens. We are making it as easy as possible for illegal aliens to leave America. Any illegal alien can simply show up at an airport and receive a free flight out of our country. We have also launched... Hold on. When did you ever be able to get a vacation that's easy? Free? Listen, you don't even have to just self-deport. You can get $1,000 and you can get a free flight to wherever it is that you came from. You don't even have to make an appointment. You could just show up to the airport. You get a free flight, free vacation back to where you came from. And you already familiar with the streets of where you came from. Don't ever say that Trump ain't never did nothing for you. You could just pull up to the airport. You know what, Trump? I'm ready to go home. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of trying not to find the people, trying to find me. And I'm ready to go to my home country and go to where I came from, and I'm going to make my country great again. I'm going to mega my country. You get a one-way ticket back to make your country great again, and you get $1,000 American dollars. And you know how much that's stretch? That's stretch. That's stretch. They go. I've been to some of these countries, and $1, it boom over there. You get to go to your country, and you can start the fruit stand, or you get the down payment on a taxi, or you can do whatever you want to do with that $1,000. The dinero. Trump is not messing. He's giving you everything that you want. This is the American dream. To come over here, steal from Americans, and then get a free flight. You had a vacation, you get a free flight. But if you don't deport, if you don't leave on your own will, if we got to catch you, you're going on the blacklist. You can't apply to become American citizen anymore. It's over for you. It's over for you. Deport and receive a free flight out of our country. We have also launched a phone app called CBP Home. That's CBP Home, where illegals can book a free flight to any foreign country. As long as it's not here, you can go anywhere you want. We're also adding a very important exit bonus for illegals to further incentivize their self-deportation. Exit bonus. You get a bonus. Trump is a businessman. He's not just sending you out there just to be out there. He's giving you an exit bonus. Deportation bonus will save American taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. What Biden did to this country can never be explained, will never, ever be accepted. Eventually, when the illegals are gone, it will save us trillions of dollars. However, if illegal aliens choose to remain in America, they're remaining illegally and they will face severe consequences. Illegal aliens who stay in America face punishments including significant jail time, enormous financial penalties, confiscation of all property, garnishment of all wages.
So you can't just put your home in your mama name. Nope. You can't put your business in your mama name. Nope. You can't put your car in your mama name. Nope. Everything the same way, worse than we do drug dealers. Because see, if you're a drug dealer, if you're a dope boy, and you moving that weight state to state, going to visit Nate from state to state, going to visit Nate from state to state, and you on the highway, trying to do it my way, making sure you motherfucker bleed. If you're a drug dealer in the United States of America, you know why drug dealers were so scared? Is because the minute that they got caught, they would lose everything and it becomes federal property. It becomes state property. They're going to divvy it up. They're going to use your car as a sting car and they're going to take all of your stuff. And so ill-gotten gains are now forfeited over to the United States of America. If you came over here and you thought that you were living the American dream, guess what? It's all going to go away. Just like that, as soon as they find out. Soon as they find out, they taking your stuff. You don't want that, bro. You don't want that. Your food truck, out of here. Papaya tree, gone. Jordans, out of here. Some of y'all like the Mexican Jordans. I don't like the Mexican Jordans. Everything is gone. They coming to get your Hellcat. They coming to get your Escalade. They coming to get everything. Everything you hustled for is gone. You can sell your stuff now. You can donate it if you wanted to. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. But the fact of the matter is you need to get yourself together so that we'll move on and we can take care of business.
Imprisonment and incarceration and sudden deportation in a place and manner solely of our discretion. So to all illegal aliens who book your free flight right now, we want you out of America. But if you're really good, we're going to try and help you get back.
Boy, I ain't never seen no president this blunt and this direct with the people, and this is telling you. He telling you right now. No parades, no festivals, no businesses, no nothing. If you came over here and you thought that you was going to finesse the system, guess what? You got another thing coming. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. It's going to be a great show tonight on the Q Show. Black Panther X says, appreciate everything you do, AD. Appreciate you too, my friend. Thank you for holding me down. Kenneth Brown in the building says, $20. It'll work. It'll work. It'll work. Brinston Ladd. What up, Ladd? Says prayer up for Tory Lanez. He got stabbed and is in a hospital. You know, I don't ever want to go to prison. I don't never want to get locked up. I just don't want to be tough no more. I don't want to be tough no more. Passport bros rushing to download the app so they can figure out how to exploit it. Guess what? They're going to spend that 1K on Box. He moving like Professor X says, my brother's keeper. Shout out to my friends over here all across the pond and all across seas. Says, good morning, Anton. I need to ask you, USA liberal weird people love visiting my country of Japan. Shout out to my Japanese people. I love Japan. And love conservative culture safety, but hate the same conservative value in the USA. Why is that? No, they hate it everywhere. It's just that we know that we can't tolerate that or we don't get away with it in other places. Here's what it is, my friend from Japan. Most of these places that we say that we love, they don't tolerate the stuff that we would tolerate over here in the United States of America. And so we don't get no respect in our own home. A prophet gets no respect in their own home. And so they'll stand with us because they're actually against the United States of America. They'll go over to y'all country and be on their best behavior. But over here, they feel like they can be disrespectful. It's just like a kid that is disrespectful and doing stuff that they're not supposed to do, over their auntie's house and stuff. But when they come home, they don't be on their best behavior at home, but then they go over their auntie's house and they show it. They act like they got some sense because they know that y'all gonna hold them accountable for it. We don't hold people accountable. We let them get out of jail. We don't arrest them. We protest whenever somebody gets arrested for, for getting held accountable for something they're not supposed to do. And so because y'all hold people accountable, they respect it. They respect it. And so it's just like a rebellious child. That's all. We got a whole lot of rebellious children over here, and that's all it is. You go over grandma's house and you act like you got some sense. You come back home and you over here cutting a fool. That's what happens. When they go to their friend's house, they try to make it seem like they the victim, like we the bad guy. You go out of the country, you throw all your stuff away inside of the trash can. You treat them, you call them sir, ma'am, yes, sir. You respect the women more, but then you come back into your own home and then all of the black women is full of the devil. You don't like women no more. I hate women. You hate feminism because they selling box over here and you say, oh man, I don't like you hoes. But then you go over there and you buy cheap box. Man, I can get some cheap box over there. Oh, so it's not prostitution over. You hate prostitutes over here. You hate when women sell box over here, but you like it when they sell it over there. What's the difference? Cause man, these girls asking for too much, but you willing to give your dollars to them. You giving your dollars, same thing with the women. These men, they trash. I don't want to go 50-50 and then you become a sugar mama over there in Ghana. They over in these countries paying these men to bust them down, but then you want men to pay for you to live the soft life over here and then you want to withhold sex in the marriage. You ain't even got to go overseas for it. They do it all the time. In a relationship, a lot of times when a woman cheats, the guy that's getting her at that time, he gonna do everything. He gonna do some of the most disrespectful things to her, and she gonna love it. She is going to love it. And she gonna go home to her husband and pay all of the bills and give her last name. Ugh, you're not emotionally available. She gonna buy him gifts with his money, and then she gonna disrespect the guy that gave her the money, the husband that give her allowance, and she gonna give it to the guy that ain't got nothing. People are disrespectful for the thing they become too familiar with. Let me say it again. People are disrespectful towards the thing that they become familiar with. They don't honor it. That's why when they get 40, you got to trade them in for 220s. Make sure you hit a like for that. I'm just playing on that last part. That was a joke. I don't want y'all to take it too serious. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. It's exactly how it go. The guy that get her on the flip side, he gonna spin in her mouth. You know what I'm saying? He just gonna call her whatever it is he want to call her, choke her out. She gonna, oh my God, it was the most immersive. They gonna call it immersive. It was the most immersive experience that I've ever had in my entire life. I think he loves me because a guy doesn't love you until he puts his hands on you. And then the other guy is saying, hey honey, how's your day? Ugh. Bad attitude. Bad attitude. That's why you got to keep them out there a little dusty. Keep them a little dusty. Bring them in. Let them experience a little life and put them back out there on the streets and let them beg to come back. Once they beg to come back, they're going to be on their best behavior. It's a conditioning process. Because she not used to nothing. She don't know how to order her steak. She don't know how to move a little bit differently in a room full of goons. She don't know how to move around here. She not used to nothing. She keep calling it escargot. No, it's escargot. I'm sorry, what did you call that? Hey, baby, don't worry about it. It's like, we're going to move on with the show shortly. It reminds me of, what's her name? Sunny from Set It Off. And she was talking to Blair Underwood, and Blair was trying to show her a different way of life, and she kept looking around all day with her box braids. Wow. Blair trying to save her. Nate already had her. Nate was busting it down for a real one, and he didn't even have to pay nothing. She ripped the check up. She used to dealing with men that don't care nothing about her. Blair was trying to show her a new way of life. She trying to go out there and rob banks. She trying to go out there and rob banks. If you watch that movie today, and you rewatch it and you realize how little bit of money that they put their lives on the line for banks, that's how I look at the people that's dusty out here today. Blair had a good haircut. He was a banker. They made love to En Vogue. She was out there hanging with Queen Latifah. She changed up for the man that she really want, right? Anyways, make sure you guys hit y'all like that analogy? That's the reason why people disrespect the United States of America when they hear. They got to go outside of the country to respect what they got going on. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Brandon says, Trump should give the U.S. citizens that $1,000. We let ICE know of the illegal locations. If they did this, all illegals would be gone by Christmas. So he said, put a bounty system on them. That could work. That could work. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to continue on with the show? Oh, yeah, this is Monday. We working today. All right, y'all. In addition to that, Trump is it. We only gonna spend 10 minutes on this one because we got to get over to Jasmine Crockett too. Yeah, we gonna bring Jasmine Crockett to the front of the congregation. He has signed an executive order on reducing drug prices. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. He signed an executive order. Look at this. Lowering prices for seniors, for you, because you don't want to fix your diet. You going to keep on eating all of the sugar. You drinking Kool-Aid every day. You go to the store, you order a McCheese chicken hamburger mixture with all of the extra biggie fries, and then you're going to get a Diet Coke to go along with it in order to make sure that you reduce calories. Well, guess what? Trump is looking out for you too. Signing executive orders to make sure that he's reducing drug prices. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
The drug lobby is the strongest lobby in this country, they say, the drug lobby. It's between that and lawyers, and they have a lot of power. But starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries.
No, Jay, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me put some JL in it. Look at that Jumpman logo that you got there. Are you the type of person that wears Mexican Jordans, JL? Now, why would you want to do this? We've established in the very beginning of this show that what we don't tolerate, we tolerate differences of opinions. We want people to think differently. We like it when people disagree with us and they have a different perspective. But the one thing that we don't want you to do is we don't want you to be overly disrespectful. We would like for you to go in and be a good guy. Look at that logo. Look at that logo. That's not a real Jordan logo. It's not the real Jordan logo. That's the And One logo. He got on And Ones. Imagine talking to a guy that walk up to you with the baggy shorts talking about Hot Sauce's mixtape. This is what we dealing with, y'all. Yes, he got Ben Simmons on there. Listen, JL, calm down, pumpkin. We're going to give you another shot. Do not time him out. If he's already timed out, then there's nothing I can do about that. But don't ban him. Give him another shot. I have a feeling he's going to be more respectful now, and he's probably going to change his logo. Now, let's start this over. Trump is reducing drug prices for people that want to order all of the worst things and then get a Diet Coke. Let's continue.
The strongest lobby in this country, they say, the drug lobby. It's between that and lawyers, and they have a lot of power. But starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries where they paid a small fraction of what for the same drug that what we pay many, many times more for. And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. But again, it was really the countries that forced Big Pharma to do things that, frankly, I'm not sure they really felt comfortable doing. But they've gotten away with it, these countries. European Union has been brutal. And the drug companies actually told me stories. It was just brutal how they forced them. And European Union suing all our companies, Apple, Google, Meta. They're suing all of our companies. They end up, they have judges that are European union-centric, and they get rewarded 15 billion, 17 billion, 20 billion, and they use that to run their operation. It's not going to happen any longer, that I can tell you.
OG Pope says, ladies, you can get your bipolar mask for 50% discount. Amazing. Thank Trump. Thank Trump. They do. The drug companies and the lawyers, we're not going to talk about the lawyers. Let's focus on the drug companies. The drug companies basically have a monopoly in certain areas, and a lot of times they've paid off the politicians. One thing that we don't like to mention, and a lot of times we should mention it, but we don't mention it, is that, as pointed out by RFK Jr., one of the Congress members that are the most contributed to is the Bernie Sanders. Yeah, the very ones that's flying across the country on the oligarchy tour with AOC, the biggest advocate for illegals inside of this country. They do. And guess what? A lot of times they upcharge here in the United States of America. They do not take care of what it is that we got going on here. And other companies, they then are used to subsidize from suing them and preventing them from doing business in the countries where they manufacture their drugs. And then they bring it into the United States of America. And then you'll have a Biden or somebody saying, hey, I negotiated with the drug companies. No, Trump just signed an executive order and says, listen, we're going to cap it out at this. We're going to prevent y'all from gouging the United States of America. And not only that, y'all going to have to start meeting certain expectations in order to even do business here in the United States of America. Thank Trump.
So for the first time in many years, we'll slash the cost of prescription drugs, and we will bring fairness to America. Drug prices will come down by much more, really, if you think 59. If you think of a drug that is sometimes 10 times more expensive, it's much more than the 59%. You know, it depends on the way you want to analyze it, but in one way you could analyze it that way. But between 59 and 80, and I guess even 90%. So when I worked so hard in the first term, and if I got prices down, remember I was the only one to ever get prices down for a full year, but I'd get them down like 2%, and I thought it was like a big deal. Well, we're getting them down 60, 70, 80, 90%, but actually more than that if you think about it in the way mathematically.
And that's true, because you can go over to other countries. You can go down to Mexico and get the same drugs or the same things for much cheaper. A lot of people be flying. Some people that live on the border actually walks across to Mexico to get their prescription medication and drugs that is then sold over here at an upcharge and taking advantage of American consumers. And so that is absolutely true. We are absolutely being gouged. And one of the reasons that we're being gouged is because they can take advantage of the insurance industry.
Shares in Asian drug makers are lower.
What I've realized, again, now that I've left corporate America, what I've realized in a lot of these instances is that, and I said this before and people was like, that don't make sense. Yes. So your company, a lot of times will pay an egregious amount of money for insurance. You then will contribute it towards that insurance. And it depends on whether or not you got a PPO, a HMO, all of this stuff, right? And so they basically telling you to prepare yourself and deal with the symptoms that come along with your bad habits instead of dealing with the problems. And what you'll also realize is that, for example, if you get an ambulance, then they will actually give you a discount if you're paying cash or you're paying out of pocket versus what they charge the insurance company. So you're almost getting double and triple billed sometimes. And I'm not telling y'all not to get insurance. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that it's a racket. The prescription companies, the drug medication companies, the insurance companies, they are taking advantage of wages. And when you look at your total compensation package, when you include all of your benefits and stuff like that, a lot of times your total compensation includes how much they're paying for your health care, how much they're paying for your insurance, how much they're paying for all of these things. And so a lot of times they're over here gouging, and because you guys are not familiar with what goes on in other places, you can't lobby for it. And these same people are really taking advantage of liberals because liberals are the ones that vote for them because they're the ones that fund the majority of the campaigns in these liberal elections. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I realized there was one medication that I picked up and it was actually cheaper, or it was around the same price as whatever your copay was to pay for it with your insurance when I was in corporate America. And I was like, what? That don't make sense.
This morning, after President Trump said he planned to slash U.S. prescription drug costs. In a social media post, Trump said that he will sign an executive order today mandating that Americans pay no more than people in countries that have the lowest price. Let's get more now with Katya.
And obviously, you see the drug medication companies or the pharmaceutical companies collapsing. Maybe not collapsing. Collapsing is that's pretty bad of a word. But they are getting destroyed in the stock market while the market overall itself is up.
Dmitrieva. Katya, good morning. What more do we know?
It's a kickback move. They incentivize your doctors to prescribe you and recommend you certain medications that you may not even need because the doctors are basically getting paid by the pharmaceutical companies. It is a racket.
This would be a very big policy indeed in the U.S. This is a key promise from President Trump during both election runs, in fact, in 2016, as well as his most recent campaign. And the idea of this, which of course we only know from his Truth Social post, so still a lot of questions, but what we do know so far is this would revive sort of a most favored nation approach to drug pricing. In other words, the U.S. or a U.S. consumer would be paying essentially the same as the lowest price available elsewhere, at least on the face of it. So you think about buying a vial of insulin in Turkey for a couple dollars, it should be the same price for American consumers. Now, a lot of questions as well about how this would apply alongside tariffs.
Which this is also, and again, she's about to probably talk about it, but y'all got to understand, but this is also a part of the negotiation with other countries and what they're shipping over here to the United States of America, because pharmaceutical companies really don't even make drugs in the United States. They ship it here, but they sell it cheaper where they make it. And then they ship it to us and upcharge it. And then we basically become addicted to it. And then the drug companies basically is the new drug dealers. Actually, the doctors is the dealers. The drug companies is the suppliers.
There were pharmaceutical tariffs announced recently that would, of course, potentially cause shortages and drive up prices. Also, how it would be implemented, because Republicans themselves are not very favorable to this. They don't really like the most favored nation approach, as well as pharmaceutical companies as well. As you mentioned there, a lot of pharma stocks reacting very negatively to this news.
Yeah, particularly already in the Asian session, the likes of the Japanese drug maker Chugai Pharmaceutical.
Ain't nobody gonna be talking about. I told y'all that Luigi's name, it was gonna be popular for 2 weeks, and nobody cares anymore. Nobody's checking for him. They don't even know what his last name is anymore.
Need a pharmaceutical as well, losing about 5% earlier on in trading. Katya, just talk us through which other stocks we ought to be watching. Of course, the European Open could feel a bit of this as well.
Yeah, of course. European stocks, pharmaceutical stocks in particular. We had in the Asian session, of course, some powers at play there, because there are some positive developments in the U.S.-China trade talks, which kind of gave a lift. But certainly European stocks, U.S. as well. When things get underway, Trump is supposed to be signing this, he said, Monday morning. So that's in a few hours when the U.S. wakes up. And we'll also be looking for more details, whether this would look like his previous most favored nation approach, whether it would apply to Medicare reimbursements, whether it would be narrow, for example, would only apply to things that were dispensed in doctors' offices or more broadly in hospitals. So still a lot of questions, but certainly we should be watching those pharma stocks when they open.
I know people.
The most favored nation.
I know. I shouldn't say that. Nah, skip it. Let's just go ahead and get into it. I know people who don't need Ozempic, who don't use it, who get it. And I was listening to a conversation. This was probably about 2-3 months ago. I was listening to a conversation, and we was in a spot, and it was like, hey, man, let me get that. And so he was like, all right, cool. You can have one or whatever, so on and so forth, because he had just had them piling up or whatever. He was like, oh, man, I've been trying to get my hands on this for a long time. And he was like, well, why you been trying to get your hands on it for a long time? He said, dog, do you know how much this costs? He said something crazy. He said something like $1,200 or $1,700. I forgot what he said. He said, dog, these is like $1,200 or $1,700 if you just got to get them straight. He said, but getting them on a prescription, obviously, I was like, my ears perked up. I said, I'm sorry? He said, man, yeah, man, rich people. Hey, dog didn't even want to give him the Ozempic no more. He was like, He was thinking about starting to do some Ozempic deal. Real talk. He didn't even want to give it to him no more. He's like, all right, that's the only one you getting. Real talk. He was like, dog, they paying crazy like this? I told him right away. I said, don't even get involved. I said, don't do it. He said, why? I said, you gonna go to jail. I don't know how they gonna get you. I don't know how they gonna charge you. He said, Anton, you so scary. I said, I am. I said, dog, we got too much money. We got too much opportunity. We got too much of a bag to be sitting here thinking like some Dusty. Don't you do it. Stop. It ain't worth it, bro. Because all you're going to do, you're going to become the plug, and the next thing you know, they're going to be raiding you, and I'm not coming to get you out of jail, flat out. You know, the way that my mind works a little bit different. My mind is way different. I can't put myself in a position. I don't know. Maybe it's legal, maybe it's not. Why even put yourself in a position to be targeted like that? I don't want that type of attention. I don't want nobody around me. I'm not interested. I said, you gonna be going to jail, bro. I don't think you should be. You can't just be selling that. I said, then you robbing an insurance company. Somehow, some way, somebody gonna send you to jail. Whenever I started seeing people's wheels turn, and I'm like, I said, and so this is the last time I'm coming over. He started cracking up. It's the last time I'm coming over. I heard about that, Alex. It's the last time I'm coming over. Nah, I'm not about to be around nobody. Nope. Don't even want them to see me coming to see you when they targeting you once you start getting these bright ideas. I'm not interested. Not interested. Last thing that I want to talk about before we really get it popping and get it turned on. Last thing that I want to talk about is Jasmine Crockett. Y'all be asking me to go off on her. I don't care about this little hood rat. Apparently, she did an interview and she said that Democrats, the powers that be, only want safe white men, which is one of the reasons why I guess she's not moving up, even though she's gained in popularity because she's been on her social media campaign tour. I don't know. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's spend 8.5 minutes talking about this one, and then I'm gonna get y'all up out of here.
Both of y'all, this is from a listener. Do you think Democrats will truly push for another woman presidential candidate, given the losses of Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, or will they quote unquote play it safe the next time around?
You know, I think the question is, who are you going to push for? Mm-hmm. You know, a part of what happens and a part of why I try to, you know, and the Congresswoman just did a great job of talking through and educating folks on the budget process.
I don't want to hear from him. Camera work is bad, the whole 9 yards. I want to hear about him. Let's hear.
Everything was going great. I ran because I thought we had the capacity to change some things, and because I thought that we should bring some, you know, common sense, North Philly, call it like we see it, sort of attitude to the DNC. Philly. And you know,
I'm not DNC, so my answer ain't gonna be the same. Because I know where they were trying to go with it, right? It is this fear that the people within the party, within the primary system, will have about voting for a woman, because every time we voted for a woman, we've lost so far. And I think that that's a natural fear because we just want to win. So there's a lot of people that are like, you know what? Like, let's go find the safest white boy we can find. I mean, I'm just saying.
Those are the callers that we're hearing. We're hearing people.
No, for real.
a white man's got to do it.
No,
We're getting
no.
those callers.
For real. And to be clear, when we talk about them, I can tell you that there is one specific candidate. I had a donor on the phones with me.
She got some big legs. She got them big legs, got them fat people legs, but like she's trying to, well, let me be quiet. Let's focus on what she's talking about, guys.
Telling me that all the donors are lining up behind that candidate. So I can tell, and I can tell you it's not a black person nor woman, okay? So like it is, they have, quote unquote, they have chosen, and when I say they, it's the same donors that most likely had their opinions about Joe Biden and move. So like that would be the they that I would talk about. Yep. Here's what I want people to understand. Is I do absolutely agree with Malcolm when he talks about not ceding your power. At the end of the day, don't give up your power. People fail to recognize how unique Trump is. They continue to say, well, we lost. Well, they both lost to Trump. Trump, who is a misogynist. Trump, who is going to ramp up the misogynist in the first place, because that's what he does. He is disrespectful. Like right now, he still doesn't know how to deal with me, because if you punch me, I'm punching back, okay? So like, here's the deal.
I don't think that Trump cares about Jasmine Crockett. Trump is doing deals in China. He just got offered a $500 million plane. He is deporting illegal migrants. He won every single swing state by a record margin. And he won a popular vote, which is unheard of for a Republican candidate. He is doing deals with the UK, trying to stop wars with Russia. He just announced that new hostages is coming home in America. He's opening up trade deals for the farmers to be able to sell to people over in China. I don't think that Trump gives a flying F about Jasmine Crockett. This is an example of main character syndrome, right? In Detroit, I will tell you that we have main character syndrome, where this is a place where if you go somewhere where people ain't tripping, if you a celebrity, they're not tripping. If you probably, they'll give you props. They'll be, oh, what's going on? I love what you got going on, big dog. They'll give you that. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to take a picture. Because guess what? Everybody in Detroit, no matter what your socioeconomic status, no matter what your movement is, if you got 13 followers on TikTok, then they got main character syndrome. They think that everybody is talking about them. I grew up in a household that has main character syndrome. I would regularly listen to my aunts who are liberal, but they're very nice people. They have conservative values, but for whatever reason, they continue to vote liberal. I would regularly listen to my aunts and people like that talk about how some celebrity is biting off of their style. And I was thinking to myself, they don't even know you. Yes, because we were in this place and this person, and I'm not going to tell y'all no names because they wasn't, in some of the same places as these people. And this person, and she would see my style. Next thing you know, I seen her on TV and she has everything that I have. And I'm like, Cheryl, I really don't think that Whitney was really caring about what your style was. Whitney wasn't checking for you at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, my family, the women in my family, this is the honest to God truth. They have main character syndrome. They think that everybody is looking at them when they come in. They think that everybody is posting on them. Hey, don't take my picture because, like, girl, ain't nobody thinking about you. If you don't go over there and get them tampons off of that shelf so we can go get that out of CVS. Trump probably pays zero attention to Jasmine Crockett. For whatever reason, I don't think that he believes that she's a threat in her district. They gave her a little position. Okay, so you're going to oversee the Doge committee and they ain't give her no responsibility. Oh, she got main character syndrome. And because she get a decent following on Instagram, or, she's able to go viral by saying some of the most egregious things and disrespectful things that she could say, and she get her butterfly eyelashes, I believe the last thing that men are worried about, and she better be careful because now they're getting, what they calling it, black fatigue, where they tired of the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Nobody is tripping on Jasmine Crockett, bro.
Now, I know he think he running again. But that ain't happening. I don't care what all is going on in this country. And I don't care how many things we won't say we are absolutely going to do. I am telling y'all with all confidence, he is not running for a third term. That is not a thing. You have to understand that it wasn't that they lost per se. I mean, obviously, Kamala was in a very precarious situation. She ran for 107 days, and there had already been, I tell people that we need to look at what exactly is the persona of the party or the persona of a candidate. And they had already characterized her as a prosecutor, period. She was a prosecutor. That was how they characterized her. They had done that years ago. And she did not have the time to explain, I'm the same type of prosecutor you would have wanted in the case of Breonna Taylor.
We knew exactly who Kamala Harris was. We learned about her. We seen the job that she did in the White House. She had been in the White House for over 4 years. Are y'all telling us that her, as a woman that ran for president in the previous election, right? And then Biden picked her after Tulsi Gabbard whooped her ass. And then right after that, she was the border czar. And then we didn't hear anything from her. You telling us that we didn't have any opportunity to learn anything about her, but yet we know everything about J.D. Vance? J.D. Vance is regularly. He was just at a conference talking about the negotiations between Putin and Zelensky in the Russian-Ukraine war and was saying that Putin wanted too much. We just seen him at a tech conference, and he was out there talking about and advocating for the United States of America and telling everybody to get on board. We know all about J.D. Vance. We can see him speak. He's articulate. He was on the ground as soon as Trump became president over in, what was the city that got flooded right before Tampa? Whatever that was. I forgot what the city was. We knew who Kamala Harris was. We didn't like her. We didn't want her. Has nothing to do with her black. Nothing to do with misogyny. Nothing to do with none of that. They spend if you can't get the word out with over almost $2 billion in advertisements, and that has nothing to do with the special interest groups, then we got a bigger problem on our hands.
Yes, I was a prosecutor, but I was one of the good ones, right? Instead, when you talk to like communities of color and you say prosecutor, it ain't nothing good that comes in your mind, right? Like it's not. And so she was having to combat that. But he had been characterized as this amazing, smart,
North Carolina
strong businessman. And so the thing is this, anybody that did their research voted the right way. The people that had the information, they voted the right way. These are facts. The more educated voters and the voters that went to the legacy media, frankly, they voted the right way. It's the ones that were getting the fake news or the lies. They were the ones
now
that
they took Trump's terms and repurposed it, y'all.
The wrong way. And so I had to think about this. I said, now this fool done filed for bankruptcy 6 times. Now what makes him a good businessman? You know, I'm like, what is it? You know, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, and when he was born, daggone it, he was given hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, I mean, I could be rich today too if my mama had that when I was born. So like, I'm just like, what is happening? And so as much as we would rail against, like, no, he sucks at business. Like, he's a fraud at business. Like, he been sued for being a fraud. Y'all remember his fake school? Like, I mean, all the things. Like, you could say that. But at the same time, we ended up looking like the liars because they were like, for years, I have seen his name on buildings. You can't tell me this man don't have money because I've seen Trump hotels. I've seen Trump casinos. I don't know how you bankrupt a casino, but he did. I mean, I have seen Trump everything throughout the world. And so it's this persona. And so I'm like, you have to understand that didn't happen in one election cycle. That was over a long amount of time.
When will Democrats give it up and just say, you know what? I lost. He is a billionaire. He has golf courses. He has licensing deals. He has sold a numerous amount of books. He did execute on the art of the deal. You can see how that's playing out. When will they just give up and actually, because you know what? I got to give a little bit of credit to the Michigan governor. She certainly kissed the ring and she said, listen, I need to work with the Trump administration because we need him over in Michigan. And he is a person that is actually helping to protect the Great Lakes and he's taking care of business. And, you know, Trump has generated billions and billions and billions of dollars and the banks like him and his real estate development portfolio is vast. and he continues to run up a bag, and he's taking care of business, and all of his wives is taken care of. And how can, listen, let me ask y'all a question. How can you become successful and become a billionaire, but you're stupid? You don't know nothing about business, but you wind up becoming a billionaire. Which all black people love Trump. Oprah included. They all loved him. They was all best friends with him. All of the women that was on The View, they all loved him until he ran for president, and all of a sudden he was incompetent as a businessman. Yet he continues to win every single day when he's negotiating on the behalf of Americans and the United States of America.
We don't necessarily have another.
And remember, the foundation of her argument of what she's saying is that people within her own party, let me translate it for you. People within her own party don't want her. She's framing it as they don't want black women, they don't want women, they don't want black women on top of it. Victim Olympics as usual. She's saying people within her own party, the donors within her own party, are backing strong men. And she's using an example as Trump to try to illustrate why she should be promoted, but she'll never be any more than exactly what she is.
Coming up, right? We have this cult that is trying to figure out who will be the cult leader next. But when you had DeSantis that tried to be Trump, he could not do it. When you had Nikki that tried to be Trump, she couldn't do it. You had the one running for Ohio governor. He couldn't be Trump. Yeah, Ramaswamy. Like, so the thing is, you can't just insert somebody else in. And so it was a unique person. And so I think that we should just be looking at who is best. Period. Exactly. And we should trust and believe, because let me tell you something. I told some people here recently. I said I was talking to a room of very in tune donors, women donors in New York just last weekend, and I said, first of all, we got to figure out what our simple message is. So I did a game with them. It's first and only time I ever did it. I said, tell me what the theme of Obama's campaign was.
Hope.
Everybody said hope.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I said, now tell me what the theme of Trump's campaign was.
Make America
Everybody
great again.
You know what they said. And then I said, now tell me what the theme of Hillary's campaign was.
I'm going to rat off of Bill Clinton because he got head inside of the White House. And so we wanted to make sure that Obama endorsed her and she became a part of the establishment because we owed her a favor. And that she also had the laptop in an email scandal. What is Hillary Clinton's campaign? Pantsuit. Frumpy. Bitter. We don't really care about her. We only care about Clinton. But we had Obama give her a position to give her more credibility so that she can then run for president of the United States of America and put 1,000 cracks in that glass ceiling. And then we pour resin on top of it to make sure it stayed really, really solid. Lewinsky head. Bad pantsuits. I don't even know what Kamala Harris's was. What was Kamala Harris? What was Kamala Harris's campaign slogan, y'all? Together we can. Tim Walz is in the... I know what Tim Walz was known for, Tampon Tim.
Struggle.
I know that Trump used to call Hillary Crooked Hillary.
And then I said, tell me what the theme of Harris's campaign was. And I thought they was going to come to where I had come. And they didn't get it. And so they were all over the place. And I said, so essentially, number one, we have to find that very simple, and it still has to be, again, an emotion. When you think about great...
She thinks it's about marketing, and it's not about marketing. It's not about marketing. Jesus, Lord have mercy.
That's evoking an emotion. When you think about hope, I'm like, I was hoping, but I wasn't believing, you know, but I hoped my way to the polls,
yes,
right?
Yes, we can.
Yes, you know, right? And so,
Si se puede.
Yeah, the thing is, you can still repeat it.
Yes.
As if it was yesterday.
Yes.
And so, honestly, I mean, we can spend all the time coming up with the best policy proposals and all the things and whatever, but at the end of the day, giving something that somebody can connect to that makes them identify with a strong emotion, it will be honest.
All right, we got enough of Jasmine. I told y'all we was only going to do 9 minutes. I don't have anything else in me to continue to listen to this woman. It is atrocious. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. It's been a great show today. It's been a great show today. Absolutely 100% great show. See if I can get some love. Some love in this club. Let's get some pinkish reddish in this club. Been a great show today. Let me read some of these super chats. We're going to have a good show today, y'all, on the Q show tonight. One more question before I sleep. I see this in the chat too. I know it is slang, but I cannot find the Japanese dictionary. What does sell box mean? Selling box mean women being prostitutes. It mean women that are selling their cootie cat. They selling their kitten. They selling their Hello Kitty. Shout out to my Japanese compadre. Donovan Henderson says, coaching calls. I got my emails. There's no response. Yeah, I'm going to have to get my people on that. I think that they trying to prevent me from doing coaching calls because they saying that I ain't got as much time as I say I do. And I say I do, I got time. I'm on it. A.R. Smitty says, I find it interesting that Jazzy supporters never ask what she is doing for the district she voted her in. Neither do they ask what is her platform besides being anti-Trump. I don't see her ever being. AOC keep getting held accountable for what's happening in her district. Remember, AD, Jasmine C is speaking like a liberal woman, and she's speaking to the liberal mindset to keep them on the plantation of future votes. Kennedy Richardson says, or Richards89 says, in fact, didn't Kamala become vice president because of DEI? Facts. Because Tulsi Gabbard put her out of her misery, and Biden revived her like the plague. Executive Suite Emily says, longtime Democrat strategist James Carville, I know who he is, I see his stuff all the time, is speaking out against Jasmine publicly. She said she's ostracizing white male voters that are needed to win. The Gray Way in the building says Harris' theme was, are you okay? Manuel AG says, my friend and I call Kamala Harris Mumbler Harris. Shout out to Manuel and my girl Mika. Says she can't focus on policies because she has none, and you can't listen to anyone who can't figure out what size their wig cap is. Hashtag MAGA. Shout out to my girl Mika. Y'all better give Mika a round of applause with her sexy self. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. The show is going to be lit tonight. And remember, y'all, I am doing an early live stream tomorrow because I'm doing a panel with Jason Whitlock shortly after. So we're going to get started between 8:30 and 9 a.m. Eastern. 8:30 and 9 a.m. Eastern is when we're going to get started with the show tomorrow. And then we're going to switch over to Jason Whitlock and we're going to get it popping. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that supported the platform. You guys are the greatest on earth. Hit a like for the algorithm. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. And send this to your friends and family because we don't want to be rich by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Courtney Smith hit me with a super chat before we got out of here and she said, the quiet part out loud, emotion. Democrats spend way too much time manipulating emotions to win the votes instead of focusing on policies. That's a fact, Courtney. And thank you for hitting me off. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all tonight. Peace.